Good morning, everyone, and Merry Christmas to all of you people out there, and happy holidays as well. This is Robert. RJL Network presents a very special presentation of Inside Pitch. The 1972 demo game is on the air. Once again, Merry Christmas and good morning to everyone today. We have now made it to the demo game. Today, of course, is the 24th, and we have reached the demo game now for the upcoming 1972 season that will start on January 1. This is the demo game. This is where I go ahead and I play a very kind of like an exhibition game to lead into the next season. So the demo game pretty much is the official start of the 1972 Inside Pitch / FastScore replay that we will begin next Monday. The demo game is specifically designed. This is not a teaching game. This is a demonstration where I will do each roll slow and short and steady so everyone can see the mechanics of how the game operates. A lot of people here, of course, are already familiar with Inside Pitch and pretty much already know how to play the game. This is really not aimed at the veterans, although I will be answering questions throughout the game. This stream could probably take about 2 hours to do. That's why I moved it back to 11 o'clock, because I know we have football coming up today for the NFL. And of course, it is Christmas Eve. So this is actually kind of like a demonstration of the game, and people can ask questions, but it's really not a teaching game. There are many ways to teach a game, so I feel that the demonstration is the best way to go. But I will, of course, go through the motions as each game, as the game unfolds. Since the 1972 season is the season we're about to begin, we will, of course, use the World Series teams that actually played in 1972, and that is the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Oakland Athletics. The game will be at Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum for the demonstration. Since the Athletics did win the World Series that year, they do get the home field for this demo. It is good to see everybody. Merry Christmas, everyone. Vita Productions, Tracy Meehan, Steeler Fan 1933, Brian B., Doug Hunt, Jeremy Brooks. All good to see you guys. And hopefully we will have a very good demo game, and we will see what happens. Baseball, this is an exhibition game, so baseball rules are going to be relaxed a little bit. We are only going to play with the players that came with the original sets for 1972. So if there are any traded players for the Cincinnati or Oakland, they will not be in this demo game. They will be available. All players are available. No 25-man rosters. If this game does go into extra innings, ghost runners will be available immediately starting the 10th. As you do know, I do use the ghost runner rule in my replay for regular season as well, but only if a starting pitcher has to come in and the ghost runner begins the next full inning. I'm really tired of doing 17, 18, and 19 inning games, especially on a school night, because you guys know I do a game every single night, if at all possible. Sometimes life gets in the way, but what are you going to do? So yes, we have some ridiculous new rules for 2024. The foul lines of the first base line has now been widened to encompass the entire dirt. One less mound visit. Now 18 seconds with a player on base, with a runner on base, instead of 20. And now a pitcher that warms up in the bullpen must come in to face at least one batter. I don't know, but it's still baseball. What are you going to do? So we're going to use, as I said, Cincinnati and Oakland for this game. Pretty much 1972 was pretty much the start of the Big Red Machine. But in 1972, 73, and 74, the Swingin' A's were swinging. They were the team to beat in the early 70s in baseball. Coming from 2016 now to 1972, pitching's a lot different. So after changing pitchers right and left in the 2016 season, 1972 is going to be much different. Okay, so the first thing I do is we got to set up the game. Now I already have the base. I already have the ball charts and the lineups already set. But I want to tell people to and thank you very much, there, Steeler fan, Matt. But a lot of people their issue with inside pitch is a learning curve because of the base running mechanics. Inside pitch is pretty much really the only the only game where the dice decide what happens during base running. It's not done by charts. So, and a lot of people have issues with the base running of a ball is hit to here, and what do you do when you run it when a base runner happens? So, first thing, if you'll notice here, I have created a base running chart. This is a base running helper chart. This chart is designed to really help people with the base running. Okay, when a ball was hit to the outfield. I'm really tired of people saying the learning curve. That a lot of people have given up on this game because of the base running. For those of you who have an issue with the game and base running, I'm going to show you how we create this chart. I'm going to show you two ways how we do it. I have a cheating chart. I have a cheating chart, and then we will do it the hard way first. So the first few minutes of this game, before we even get into it, we're going to create the base running chart. This is specifically designed for people, okay, that have an issue that have issues with the base running. So I'm going to show you how we do it. The first thing I usually do, of course, if you're going to create this chart, get it either laminated, or what I do is I have the chart and I put it into a card sleeve, which I have plenty of due to other games I play. Okay. The first thing we usually do, the top field should be the visiting team, and the bottom should be the home. So we'll do the Cincinnati Reds first, but we'll do that the first way. So, as you know, the base running system has an S as on batter cards, such as Pete Rose. You'll see like S7, S6, D7, and you want to know where the base runner, depending on the field, is going. So let's do S7. These here, you can create the chart, and it's actually available for download at the Universal Baseball Lounge for those of you who want mine, but you can create your own, just like David Baseball Demos has done. So you have S7, S8, and S9. Single to left, single to center, single to right. Here, double to left, double to center, double to right. What the modification will be from first to third, what the modification will be second to home, and what the modification will be when first to home. The first thing to do is to create I would like to do is I go across. Now, I'm going to do it the hard way, and then I'm going to show you an easy way to do it as well, because I also have a cheating chart, but I'll do it the hard way first. So you got a single to left field. Well, the left fielder for the Cincinnati Reds is actually going to be Pete Rose. Pete Rose in left field has this is of course, the range, the error rating, and the arm rating. Pete Rose has an arm rating of 0. So a ball at the left field, there's not going to be any changes, at least from his arm rating, but there's still a change. So we will now go to the chart, and you can see here on a hit on S7, try to bring it up there. On S7, first to third, it's a -2 to the base running rating. So since we know it's a -2, and we know that Pete Rose has a 0 arm, so we know there's not going to be any modification. So you're going to write a -2 here, which automatically shows that that's going to be when a ball is hit to left field. You're just going to take the base running rating of the ball player, a 4, and then -2, and then you're going to roll your dice. On second to home for the left field, okay, on a ball hit to left, since Pete Rose has a 0 arm rating, okay, 0 to home, second to home, it's a +1. So we know the base runner is going to get a +1 rating on a hit the left field, and he's on second base. So it's a +1. There's no modification. So we know you're going to put +1 in second to home. On a double to left field, first to home, you'll go ahead and check again. And double to left is a -1 when the ball is hit to left field. So we know Pete Rose does not go ahead and do any modification. So it's going to be just a -1 to the base running rating okay, on a play on a base runner here from first to score on a double into left field. Now of course center field, a ball hit the center, we will continue to do it that way. Okay. Now on a ball hit the center field, the center fielder for the Cincinnati Reds in this game I'm using is Bobby Tolan. He also has an arm rating of 0. So with an arm rating of 0, we know there's not going to be any modifications at all on single to center or double to center. So first to third will be -1, second to home +2, and first to home +1. So you're going to go ahead and put out, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to do -1, +2, and +1 on the chart. On a ball hit the right field, the right fielder I'm using for this game for the Reds is Cesar Geronimo. Cesar Geronimo, okay, in right field has a -1 arm rating. So you're going to actually subtract 1 from the rating on a ball hit to right. So right field on a single to right from first to third would be you got +2, +1, and -1, but you're going to subtract 1. So it's going to be, instead of +2, it's going to be a +1. Instead of a +1, it's going to be a 0, and instead of a -1, be a -2. So on a ball hit the right field for single, since it's a -1, you know it's going to be a +1, and hit the center field, and a double getting separate home +1 becomes a 0, and then a -1 becomes a -2. So this is where, so now you've already created your baseball helper, okay, for the Cincinnati Reds when they are in the field. I kind of use a red marker to tell me who's in the field so I know which chart to look at. I was thinking of actually creating a separate chart for both teams and making this a little bit easier. Never really got around to it, so I can still use it anytime. Okay, so now you have your Cincinnati Reds. The one thing about this game, I am here to teach the mechanics of the game. I am not here to discuss ratings. I will not discuss ratings of any players. So if you feel a player is rated incorrectly, that you take up with Chris Davis. He is the creator of the game. Feel free to email him or go ahead into the Delphi forums and ask him why a player was rated this way. You know me, I take ratings as they are. I do not change them. But remember, if you don't like a player's rating, change it yourself. Inside Pitch will have no problem with it. All you got to do is just cross out the number and put a number on top of it. Go right ahead. It's your game. As baseball demo says, play the game you want the way you choose to play it. Good to see you, Astros Reefer, Luca Pini, Baseball Fun and Games. Good to see you as well. Now that is how you do it the hard way. Now I'm going to show you how you can do it a very easy way. I created a chart here, which is this. This is a quick chart. Pretty much the outfielder arms are all going to be sequential. So you can create this chart, and I'll go ahead and I'll leave it on the screen there for anybody who may want to later go ahead and maybe stop the video and screenshot it. And then you could just go ahead and create your own chart. This is a very quick way of doing it. So what you do is you have the left fielder arm. This is the left fielder arm, and right across is automatically the ratings assigned. The only time these ratings change, of course, is if there's 2 outs. If you're 2 outs, you're going to add 1 to the base runner's rating automatically, of course. Okay. So if there's 2 outs, if there's 2 outs and a single to left, the -2 really becomes a -1, or you take the base running rating. So if the base running is a 4, it becomes a 5. So then it's -2 equals a 3, that kind of thing. So this is a chart we use for the Oakland Athletics. Okay, we will use this quick chart. The Oakland Athletics in left field, I have Joe Rudy. Now he is a -1. So a -1 in left field, as you can go to this chart, a -1 is -3, is -3, 0, -2. In center field, I have for the game, for center field for the Athletics, I have Angel Mangual. Angel Mangual has a 0 arm in center field. So we go to the center field chart, and center field 0, -1, +2, +1. +2, +1. And then in right field, I went ahead and put Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson's in right field, and he has a 0, and he has a 0 arm. So the right fielder mark is +2, +1, -1. Then I write Oakland, and we're done. So that is how you can create the baseball helper, the base running chart that quickly. On hits through the infield, S1 to S6. Okay, it's the S1 to S6 is just very simple. S1 to S6. You're just looking at the main chart. You're just looking at the main chart here for S1 to S6, the runner advance chart, and you already know, and you know that this chart here never changes. Oh, okay. The only thing you got to do is add 1 to the base runner rating if there's 2 outs. So that's pretty much how that is how you set up the chart. So if anybody has any questions about base running, create this chart, check where the ball was hit to, roll the die, and you get your base running, and you get your answer right there. There are no charts that decide how the game. There are no charts that resolve a play. Everything is resolved by the dice, except there are only 2 charts. That actually do resolve a play, and that's the bunt chart and the squeeze bunt chart. These charts are the only ones that resolve a play in the game. Everything else is dice. There are no charts. This is the only chart you use here, and everything is there. No flipping, no looking through which chart you need, okay? None of this, none of that, okay? No 2-star, no 1-star. It's the only chart you need. That's it. And your setup is done. So there are no other charts you need. Okay, everything is explained pretty well in terms of errors right around here, failed range check rolls, and of course and we are of course using the version 3 rules, which has now been out for the last couple of years. One of the things I love about Chris Davis, who created Inside Pitch, is he went ahead and he asked a lot of people what they would like to see for his version 3 rules. He took a lot of suggestions, including some from me, some from Rick Query. I think he took a suggestion from David Baseball Demos. He is very customer service oriented, like Dave Cook of Action PC Baseball. His customer service is exemplary, just like Chris Davis. His customer service is exemplary. If there are any errors on any cards you receive that you think, email him, and he will send you a replacement if it's printed, or of course a PDF. He'll fix the PDF. He'll expect the PDF. Do I expect the version 4? No. He said the version 3 would be the last. Although he has gone ahead and made some other, he has made clarifications. I do not expect the version 4. I don't think there really is no need for it. And of course, you're always free to make your homebrew rules. I did make some homebrew rules for the ball hit at the plate on error, and it makes some clarifications for me easier for certain things that I do here. This is the homebrew rules I use for my games. G2 results grounded at the catcher, depending on what the runner's on base, because sometimes the chart doesn't include all this. How to make it easier with error on a throw results from S7, S8 to S9 on doubles. Okay, this information here, I'll leave that out right there. I'll keep it in there on the camera for about a few seconds if anybody wants to screenshot this and make a copy or anything like that, and so on and so forth. Of course, Inside Pitch uses this rare play chart. It's kind of vanilla, but I'll still use it anyway because this rare plays really, I found out, is specifically designed for his engine. Although some people like to use the replay baseball rare plays and such and such and such. I'm assuming you're letting the pitchers bat like it did in 1972, no designated hitter. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. Pitchers do bat in 1972. There is no DH. It is 1972. I will not be using a designated hitter at all in this season because, well, it wasn't used. PB ratings of 6, or just let it ride. I wasn't even going to mention it there, Dave. I wasn't even going to mention it. So that is, as I said, I'm not here to discuss ratings. I'm here to discuss the game mechanics. As I said, if anybody has an issue with ratings, please email Chris or ask your question. I would really ask questions in the forum. Okay, that is the place to act. That is the place to ask, for rating information, why he was rated this way. But as I said, but like David Baseball Demo says, play the game you want the way you choose to play it. If you guys think you need to change a rating or so, go right ahead. Mark it on the card. It's okay. Or mark it in your score sheet. So instead of marking it on the card, if I feel that Gary Nolan if I feel that Pete Rose's error rating is a 4, but what I do is I don't use, I'll go ahead and on my score sheets, I go ahead and I put the rating, the error rating, and the arm rating here. I'll just move it to a 5 or something like that and just change it there. Because I usually look at the score sheet, not the card, for arm ratings. Now, of course, one thing I should mention, if you do any outfielder changes throughout the game, you are going to want to go ahead and change the helper to see if there's any changes to the outfielder ratings. And that's why I mention a dry erase marker, because all I got to do is just done, and then just put and then just put the new rating in there, and you're done just like that. That's what I recommend. Okay. What is the site for my pitcher's batting cards? They are in the Universal Baseball Lounge. There is a file there. You just got to. I couldn't email the link to you their baseball demos, but the file is in, and it's not really named. It's going to say PHI08, okay, but that's the file. If it says PHI08, that's where you can download the generic pitcher batting cards that I created and such. These are designed for the DH years. These are my own. These are not actually my own creations. Someone else actually developed these. I just took it and made a bunch of pitching cards and a position player and a position player. The lounge is in my comments there. The Universal Baseball Lounge. And here you got generic pitcher hitting cards specifically designed for pitchers that have a certain average, if they can hit a home run or not, that kind of thing. Because I just didn't like the idea of using some other team card or something like that for the pitcher, But I just didn't like the idea for it. So, but of course, for 1972, for 2016, I didn't need to use these because the pitchers did bat. And in they didn't bat, they used DH, okay? But in 1972, I won't be using these either because they didn't use a designated hitter. 1972 was the last year before the designated hitter was introduced. So again, my pitcher batting cards will not be used for the upcoming season. Good to see a Kirk ID Jester joins us here. ID Jester, I will give special shout out to him. For ID Jester, okay, is one of the main reasons why I chose inside pitch, because he rated inside pitch at one point number 1 in his overall late. He had payoff pitch at one time rated number 1. He decided to move inside pitch into number 1. And because of his review is the reason why I took a good look at it. And because of Baseball Demos actually playing the game is the reason why I decided to take a closer look at it. And as soon as I got the game, even I was having a little bit issue with the base running, but I practiced at it to the point where I just think there is no other game that simulates base running better than inside pitch. No charts, no 2-star, no 1-star, no rolling the dice. Oh, he automatically makes third, where there is no way he would make it to third base. So if you got a guy with a base running rating, of 1, okay, and it's hit the left field, there's no way he's even only with 2 outs. He might have a chance, but depending on the left fielder arm, there's no way he'll get to third, and that should be correct. Okay, so that is how that's how it works. There, it is the only game that simulates base running to a T. Now, I'm not saying it's everybody's piece of cake, everybody's cupcake. There are some people that don't like it because of it. I get it. Like I said, Appa is awesome. Stratomatic is awesome. Had a lot of fun with Stratomatic while I was doing it in the off season. Okay. Had Fall Classic is awesome. Fort Street Baseball is awesome. Season Ticket Baseball is awesome. History Maker Baseball is awesome. They're all great. Everybody has their tastes. But to me, the reason why I chose Inside Pitch, it's the most exciting game you can play. It really is the most exciting. And if you've seen some of the games I've rolled on this channel from all the seasons I've done, you will understand why. You will understand why. So, okay. So that is the introduction really to how the game starts. As I said, this is not a teaching game. This is a demonstration. Okay. So now you got, and of course, ask your questions as we go through. So let's get started. Let's go to the top of the first. Cincinnati Reds and the Oakland Athletics, the two World Series teams for 1972. And, of course, Oakland starts in the field. So let's take a look here. We're going to use Catfish Hunter as the starting pitcher for the Athletics. And, well, why not? Catfish Hunter, of course, Hall of Famer. Yes. He had one of his best years in 72. He was 21-7 with a 2.04 ERA. So Catfish Hunter truly was one of the best that year. And yes, of course, he is a Hall of Famer. Absolutely. We're playing at Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum for this game. And Oakland Coliseum, 120 home runs, maybe a neutral park in my opinion, slightly favoring hitters on some cases, a +1 to strikeouts and a -2 to walks, no home run adjustment. So why don't we let's play some inside pitch baseball here, and let's see how we go. Leading off for the Reds is going to be Pete Rose. I put him in left field for the game that's where he was in 72. A .307 batting average, 6 homers, 57 RBIs. Since the Athletics, I always use the dice color of the home team. So we will use yellow, white, and green dice. Yellow will be the top, and white will be the yellow will be the top die. The white die will be the bottom die, and of course, I always have a green die depending on what color it is. I pretty much have all the colors for all the main teams. You first start on the batter, so we go up at the top of the first inning, okay, and the first roll is always off the batter card. So we go ahead and roll, and it is a 4-1. So we check the 4-1 section here, and it says K. This means a possible strikeout. So now what you do is you look at the batter's card. Catfish Hunter is a righty, and against a right-handed pitcher, okay, Pete Rose is a strikeout rating of 5. You add 1 to the stadium check, which makes him a 6. That is an 11. And that means it's too high. So Pete Rose will not strike out, so now he gets to roll. And it's a 5-6. And we check his card. A 5-6 is **3. This is what is *line 3, or I call it an automatic. It's an automatic out, which it is. And *3 means you go to the pitcher's card to check his star line up here, okay, and check to see where it's going to be hit to. Catfish Hunter has the one thing about inside pitch, also that Chris Davis does, his star line pretty much tells you what kind of a pitcher he was. He has 4 flyouts and 2 groundouts. So Catfish Hunter gave up more outs. He gave up more flyouts than he did groundouts. So it's a *3, which automatically tells you what it is, and you'd see an F9. So that means it's a fly ball to right field, and that's going to be an out. So Pete Rose will fly out to right, which means Reggie Jackson will go ahead and get that play. And there is 1 out. Next batter is going to be second baseman Joe Morgan. And I'm really not going to go through the averages and stuff like that. I'm just going to go through it'll slow things up a bit. So Joe Morgan's going to be at second base. So he will now come up to bat. If pitcher card had an E question mark, will a double star still be automatic? Maybe an error. It is going to still be an error because you still got to check to see where it was hit to. So if it's an E, so if you get an E question mark, okay, on like say here a 2-5 mean E question mark, and Morgan says double star 1, a fly to left, but you still got to check to see if there is an error on the play. The pitcher card will always command, the pitcher card always commands the at-bat. The pitcher card always commands the at-bat. The batter makes the resolution, the ballpark as well. The only time the pitcher card does no longer command the at-bat is on a rare play. So no matter off the pitcher card. So no matter what it is, okay, if it comes off a range play at the park, okay, and you come up with a rare play, a black imp, the range play no longer matters. It's whatever the rare play is. So now we roll for Catfish Hunter, and it's a 5-2. 5-2 now means a possible walk chance. So now we check Joe Morgan. Against a righty, he walked a lot. So he had a 22 against righties, although Oakland Coliseum says -2. Okay, that's a 15. Pretty much Joe Morgan, anytime a walk comes up, Morgan's going to first base. So that's going to be a walk given up by Catfish Hunter. And he only had 64 walks that year in 1972. So Morgan does walk. So now he goes to first base. Okay. And now I usually automatically set the infielders up for double play if there's a runner on first, pretty much no matter what, unless I specifically state I'm not doing it. So now we have Morgan on at first. And now the batter for the Reds is going to be center fielder Bobby Tolan. Now comes the strategy roll. Good to see you there, Philip. So now comes the strategy roll. The strategy roll is supposed to be used anytime you have somebody on base. What you're checking to see for strategy to see if there is a balk, a pickoff, a steal attempt, or a hit and run attempt. Joe Morgan has had 58 stolen bases that year. He was a thief. His stolen base rating is a 6. Catfish Hunter on this side, okay, tells you on the side on the left, tells you the side he's holding. The side of the right, okay, increases or decreases the stolen base rating of the runner, and of course you include the catcher later. Okay, so he's got a 6 and a 0. Now Bobby Tolan, against the righty, his strikeout rating is a 12. Okay, now you check the hit and run chart as well, but you do not include the stadium. The stadium will not include that. Okay, according to Chris, you do not include the stadium modifier for a possible hit and run. So Morgan is a 6 and a 0, and Tolan has a 12 against righties. So it's a +2 to see if there's a hit. So a 1 to 6 on the strategy roll would be a stolen base chance. A 7 or 8 would be a hit and run chance. Okay. Now, Bobby Tolan also has a bunt rating of 5. You're also checking to see if Bobby Tolan may come on to bunt. So if you'll check a regular player, a bunt rating of 16 to 19 could be a bunt attempt. Okay. You always still want to roll a strategy roll to see if maybe a bunt rating comes up. A bunt attempt may come on with a regular batter. I don't always do it. Okay. And, but sometimes you want to go ahead and bunt the ball. Okay. Maybe to move the runner over. Okay. And then, of course, a 20 comes up. It's a possible pickoff rating, or balk. So we will roll the strategy. And that actually comes up as a 7. Now that means that's going to be a hit and run opportunity. I'm going to play the strategy roll hard and fast for a few innings. So we're going to do a hit and run. So now you come up to the hit and run chart, because that makes it's +2. So the 7 is higher than Morgan's attempt rating, but because we add +2, Bobby Tolan, okay, for the +2. For the strikeout rating, okay. Now you're going to go ahead and it becomes a 7. We're going to do a hit and run. So Catfish Hunter will go ahead and do a hit and run. All ground ball double play ratings get a -2. All base running ratings get a +2. Home run and walk ratings for the batter are cut in half because he's trying to make contact, not hit the ball out. All lineouts are double plays. If the batter strikes out, you resolve play like a steal, but -2 to the stolen base running rating. So let's see what Catfish Hunter does. So the hit and run is on. 5-2. Now that is a walk once again, but we know the walk rating is halved because Tolan's trying to make contact. So in this case, Bobby Tolan is an 8. -2 is a 6 against a righty, but that's cut in half. So now his walk rating is a 3. That is a 4. So actually, That is a 4. So if we were not trying to hit and run, Bobby Tolan would get a base on balls. But because we are trying to hit and run, okay, he will not get the walk. So he does get to swing. So now we'll go ahead and swing. And that is a 1-5. And that is just going to be a fly ball to left field. And he would have walked if we didn't try a hit and run. Okay, but instead it's a fly to left, which means Joe Morgan will get back. And that will be 2 outs. You do love this overview. You do, because always get a refresher. Yes, it is. And then I also do the refresher, not just for you guys, but I also do it for me. That'll bring up this guy. Mr. Johnny Bench. Hall of Famer? Yes. One of the greatest of all time? Yes. Johnny Bench owned the catcher spot in 1972. Not many catchers have a -3 in the steal rating, but he does, which means he had more caught stealings than he actually had stolen bases on him. Johnny Bench, 40 bombs in 40 blasts in 1972. Yeah, a pretty good home run hitter. So now there are 2 outs, and now I'll call the infield back. And of course, with double plays, I didn't mention double play ratings. All range plays to the infielders are subtracted by 1, which makes it harder for them to make a range play. Okay, so now we roll from run, but we still roll the strategy. Now Johnny Bench has against righties strikes out as an 8. So now a hit and run would be +3. But with 2 outs, I don't do hit and runs, and you don't do bunts. So but I'm still rolling to see if a steal attempt comes up or if a pickoff. And that is a 12. Nothing will happen, so it will be a normal pitch. So Catfish Hunter will go ahead and pitch. And that is a 6-3, and that is a strikeout chance. Johnny Bench against the righty is an 8. +1 is a 9 from the stadium. That's a 16. It's too high. He will get the hit. 4-6. And on 4-6 on his card is a fly ball to center field. So getting under that is going to be Angel Mangual. He will make the catch. So a leadoff, so a walk will not do anything. So nothing across except the walk for Catfish. And we will go to the bottom of the first. Starting pitcher I chose for the Cincinnati Reds in this game is Gary Nolan. I chose him because he pretty much was the ace of the Reds that year. 15 wins and 5 losses, a 1.99 ERA. Had about 25 starts for the Reds. So now we go with the Reds in the field. So I move this marker up to here. And now let's see what the Athletics can do in the bottom of the first. Leading off for the swinging A's will be the shortstop. It is Bert Campaneris. He will go ahead and lead off. He had 52 stolen bases that year. He was a thief. So let's go ahead and see what the Reds have here. A 6-3 off the pitcher card. So Nolan, again, a strikeout chance. Against the righty, Campaneris is a 9. +1 from the ballpark makes him a 10. That is a 12. It is too high. Campaneris does get the swing. 1-1, and that is a G1. That's just a comebacker right back to Nolan. And he will toss that over to first for the out. Coming up for the Athletics next will be the left fielder, Joe Rudy. He had a great year that year, 305 batting average, and he could hit the long ball as well. So Gary Nolan will go ahead and pitch. Let's see what he comes up with. A 1-6. Now that is a WLD, means a wild pitch chance. When there's nobody on base, you just pretty much you ignore it, but I will say ball 1. Now there are no rules in the game, in the book, that states if you throw 4 wild pitches, it is an automatic walk. I do have a house rule that if 4 straight wild pitches come up, it's a walk. It's an automatic ball. It's 4 balls and you take the base. If you throw 4 of those, the batter does deserve to get it. But it's no wild pitch, so it's ball 1 and you re-roll. You do not go to the batter card. You still must re-roll it to see what the pitcher card says could happen. So you re-roll, and now it's a 5-4. Now a 5-4 comes up, HR question mark. This is what I call a home run chance. This is something where the pitcher may have made a bad pitch, put it right over the plate into the wheelhouse of the batter. Rudy, however, is a righty. Against a right-hander, however, Gary Nolan, a 1-5. He gave up a number of home runs to lefties, obviously, according to this. If Rudy was a lefty, a 1-19 would be a ball right over put right over the plate. A 1-5 is a home run possibility. The ball is put over the plate. That is a 12, according to the die. So Nolan does not make a mistake. He does not groove it right over the plate. So that becomes a blank, and then you go ahead and roll for Rudy's card. That is a 1-5, and a 1-5 on Rudy's card is an L6, which means a line drive right to short, caught easily. And that is out number 2. Good to see you, Bob's Tabletop Sports. Merry Christmas to you, of course. And that'll bring up this guy, right fielder Reggie Jackson. And here he is at Oakland. And Reggie Jackson was a monster when he played for the Athletics. And I still think he was more of a monster with the Athletics than he was with the Yankees. That's how I feel. But Reggie Jackson, Hall of Famer? Yeah, absolutely. So Reggie Jackson, he will come up to bat against Nolan. There are now 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. So once again, off the pitcher card, a 6-6. Now, a 6-6 comes up as an RP. This is a range play, which means now you got to check, depending on what Reggie Jackson hits, you got to see if the fielder makes a play. The one thing I love about the range play system in there, you don't need to check a chart. You just need to roll to see if he makes the play or not. You don't have to unfold the chart. It's right there. So now you go to Reggie Jackson's card to see if a range play what it is. And that is a 4-2. A 4-2 is an F9. That's a fly ball to right field. Now we got to see if a range play occurs. The right fielder for the Cincinnati Reds is Cesar Geronimo. His range is a 3. Now there's so now we roll a die. A 1-3, he's going to make a play. He'll make the catch out there. A 4, 5, or 6, it could be a possible single or a double. That is a 3. So Cesar Geronimo is going to make a range near the line into right field. He will take a possible hit away from Reggie Jackson. He will make the catch, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Gary Nolan. Good to see you after further review with Steve Tower. It's good to see you there. Steve Tower, of course, another one of our greatest guys out there that does this hobby. And I still, of course, will say Merry Christmas to you as well, my good man. I hope everything is good and you are spectacular, sir. And who knows, maybe if I can get up to Boston this coming year in 2024, maybe we can meet. Very possible. Maybe we can do it. So now we go to the top of the second. No score between the Reds and the Athletics. Hunter gets back on the mound. Now, the pitcher card, this tells you how many starts he has, how many batters he can face before he gets tired, and how many hits, walks, or runs he gives up before you consider pulling him. Okay? The pull rating I kind of use as a gauge. But but I don't always follow it. I kind of think really I divide this number in half, and I use that as the amount of runs, and I kind of roll. Depending on the situation, I will go up or down, and that kind of tells me when I want to get rid of him. Remember, though, this is the 1970s. This is not 2016, where a pitcher comes in for one batter and he's tired. This is much different, of course. 1970s, I got to be a lot more conservative with the pitchers because there aren't that many in the bullpen back in this time. Going from 1988 up to 2016, and now back to 1972. And of course, I've done the 70s. I've done a 76. I've done a 79. I did an 81. I did 85. I did 88. I did a 61. Did a 94. Okay, but that was with payoff pitch. All right, but still. I'll tell you, the one thing I learned about doing this, I gotta get back in the mindset of how baseball was that day. Let's see who leads off. Leading off for the Reds will be the first baseman, Tony Perez. He was pretty good play, had a good year that year, 283 average and 21 home runs. So let's see what happens. So Catfish, a 1-1. Now a 1-1 comes up as a blank. That means that the pitcher has pretty much pitched a normal pitch. It pretty much states it's a normal pitch. He does not have control over it. He gives the batter total command of what it could be. So I've kind of figured what the blanks mean. A blank means the pitcher just gave up, just made a normal changeup or a normal fastball, maybe pretty much over the plate or something like that. So now you go right to the batter card. Tony Perez rolls a 3-4, and that is a double star 2, which is an automatic out. So star line 2, you go right to Catfish Hunter, and it's a fly out, and he will go ahead and fly out to center. If anybody wonders, inside pitch uses Voros McCracken's DIPS system, which means the pitcher controls walks, strikeouts, and home runs. Everything else is controlled by the batter. Some people disagree with that system, which is okay, but I think it works beautifully for the engine he has here. Coming up to bat next is going to be Dennis Menke. He is at third base for the Reds in this game. So now we'll go with Catfish Hunter and see what he's got. 2-6. And again, a 2-6 comes up as a blank. So that means he threw a normal pitch over the plate. And now we'll see what Menke can do with it. And that is a 3-5. And a 3-5 is an F8, which means it's a fly ball to center field. And getting that will be Manguel, as he made the first 2 putouts. And there are now 2 outs in the inning. And now we'll see the right fielder, Cesar Geronimo. He is in right for this game. He can play center field. But pretty much when I play the postseasons, I usually try to get the best ranges out there when I do a postseason. And 1972 could be very interesting. Remember, 1972, they actually started late. Hence, the first opening day game was not until April 15th because of the early strike. So in 1972, this will be a replay. No extra games are being added and all of that stuff. It will be done as FastScore will take over the background of the game. So let's see what Catfish has with 2 outs. And that is a 3-3, and that comes up as an RP, and that is a range play. So now we'll go to Geronimo's card. And that is also a 3-3, and that is a question mark 7. So this is what I call a power hit or a power check to left field. Okay. Now what you do here is Cesar Geronimo has 2 separate sets up here, depending on the batter. Against the righty, okay, you're going to look at this mark. The D20 is a 9. The 9 follows under a 7 to 11 is a double. So this is a possible double to left field, but it was a range play off a Hunter's card. So that means that the left fielder gets a chance to make the play, and that is Joe Rudi. Now, he wasn't that great out there. His range is at 2. So Joe Rudi has to roll. So a 1 or a 2, he will take a double away from Geronimo. Anything higher, it is a double. It's a 5, and it's a double. So Cesar Geronimo will go ahead and get that double to left. And that is the first hit of the ball game. So Geronimo winds up on second base on a double to left field as Joe Rudi just couldn't get to it, bounced off the wall, and he throws it in, and Geronimo is now on at second. So now there are 2 outs, runner on second, and now the batter is the shortstop, Dave Concepcion. A lot of people think he belongs in the Hall. I'm on the fence about that. He had a very long career. He was one of the best fielding shortstops, I think, in the game. Hall of Fame, though, is I don't know. I'm on the fence. I can't say yes, and I can't say no. A lot of Reds fans will say, yes, he belongs in the Hall. Like I said, I'm on the fence about him. I'm not saying what if I'll put him in the Hall of the Very Good. I will do that. I will put Dave Concepcion in the Hall of the Very Good. I'll put him there. That's for sure. So Geronimo on at second. We now once again roll the strategy roll dice. Now, in order for Geronimo to think of stealing third base, the roll to steal from second to the stealing base rating is halved. But his stolen base rating is a 4. I wouldn't be sending him anyway. He had 2 stolen bases that year, which were probably failed hit and runs. Is the only thing I can think of. It'd be very difficult for him to steal a stolen base rating of a 4 And if the hit and run is a failure, that becomes a 2. So he didn't have that many steals, apparently. And he only had 255 at-bats. So let's roll a strategy roll and see what happens. That's an 18. Concepcion has a bunt rating of 3, but you're not going to bunt with 2 outs. But if you were, his bunt rating is a 3 and 18 to 19 regular, he would come up for the bunt, but you don't bunt with 2 outs, so I would ignore that, and you will just go ahead and swing away. So Catfish Hunter, a 3-1, and that comes up a strikeout chance. Against a righty, Concepcion is a 9. +1 from the ballpark makes him a 10. That is a 7, and that is a swing and a miss. Struck him out. That's the first strikeout for Catfish Hunter. And a runner will be stranded, and we will go, and no runs and a hit for the Reds. And we will go to the bottom of the second. So Nolan gets back on the mound. And leading off for the Athletics will be the third baseman, Sal Bando, who, of course, recently passed away. Sal Bando will be as a third base, good range. Made occasional errors, but not too bad. So bottom of the second inning, let's see what Gary Nolan has for this game. So that is a 1-1. Now, that is an E question mark. That is a possible error. Now we will go to Bando. I understand, Jeff Merkley. I'm not going to argue with you today. So Bando will go. So Bando will go ahead. All right, and he will swing, and that is a 5-4. Now a 5-4 is a G1, but it's a possible error. Now G1, of course, is hit back to the pitcher. Gary Nolan, we check his error rating. It is a 0, which means he did not make any errors at the pitcher spot. So that's going to be an automatic out. So it's a comebacker, and Nolan just throws it over to first. That'll bring up the first baseman I'm using for the Athletics, Mike Epstein. Epstein, not bad. 26 home runs, a 270 batting average. Not too bad. So Nolan will go ahead and he will pitch to Epstein. So let's see what happens on his card. 6-4. A 6-4 is a blank. There's a blank. So then we go straight to Epstein's card. And that is a 6-4. And that, of course, is a star 3, which is an automatic out. And you will check number 3 on Gary Nolan's card. And a 3 is a G5. So that's just a routine grounder to third. And 2 down. And now that'll bring up Angel Mangual. Angel Mangual I'm using in center field for the game because he had not good range in right field or left field, but in center field he had very good range. So I put him in center field for this game to get the best range rating possible. So Angel Mangual is in center field for the A's. As I said, remember, we are using just the cards that came with the main packs, no traded players or anything like that, which will come, of course, when we start the regular season on New Year's Day. So Gary Nolan does a 4-4, and that is a blank. And now we go to Angel Mangual, and that is a 1-5. And a 1-5 is a G3 off of his card. So it is a ground ball right to first, so Tony Perez will take care of that. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Gary Nolan. So no score after 2. And, of course, the early 70s was pretty much there was some pretty decent pitching back in the time. So I'm not surprised so far we're off to a no-score game here between these two. So we go to the top of the third, and leading off will be the pitcher, Gary Nolan. Gary Nolan does these marks up here at inside pitch means he has his own batting card. So if they do have a batting card, all right, you should use the batting card that came with them. If they do not have a batting card, okay, inside pitch does come with pitcher batting cards, specifically designed for pitchers that did not have their own batting cards. Since there were 20 other at bats, okay, you would use this card, which is a combination of all the other pitchers. I kind of like that better than the pitcher hitting cards on some other, where not every game does make a batting card for the pitcher. Okay, in the earlier seasons, some just use pitcher hitting cards automatically. The only reason why I use my pitcher hitting cards Okay, the ones I created for the DH years. Okay, for the World Series, and that's pretty much it. So Gary Nolan will bat. Let's see what Catfish Hunter does for it here. So we roll. That's a 5-4. A 5-4 is a split chance. Now, the split chance is against, depending on the handedness of the batter. There is a blank before the slash, and maybe you guys can't see it that well, so I'll bring it closer. So there is a blank before the slash, which means it's a blank to a lefty and a K plus to a right-hander. Now, of course, so we know Gary Nolan is a right-handed batter, which means that's a strikeout plus. Gary Nolan is a 25, and when you add a strikeout plus means you add 10 to the strikeout rating of the batter, and you still include the extra adjustment from the stadium. Since we know that Gary Nolan's a 25, we know that's an automatic K. Like most pitchers did that during those days. So his 25 would become a 35, plus one's a 36. You know the D20 only goes up to a 20, so you know that's just Gary Nolan pretty much swung at air, and there was nothing even there. Mike Terranova joins us here. Yeah, Mike, you're late. It's maybe not your fault, but I did state I was going to move the game. I was going to move the demo game an hour earlier due to football. So we won out. That'll bring up Mr. Rose once again. So let's see what Catfish Hunter has. Okay. A 6-1. A 6-1 now is a W, which means a walk chance. Against a righty, Rose is a 12. But -2 from the ballpark makes him a 10. That's a 12. So because the ballpark actually does not help Pete Rose here, he would have walked. But when a -2 makes him a 10 against a righty, he doesn't walk, but he does get to swing. And that is a 1-3, and that is a **1, which means it's a star. It's an automatic out, so it's a star line 1, and that's going to be a fly out to left. So right now, Catfish pitching like Catfish. Here comes Morgan. Morgan walked his first time up. Don't feel bad, Mike Terranova. It's not your. Like I said, I thought I did state that I was moving the game back 1 hour. I did post that at least in my community tab. I know I did, just so people wouldn't miss the start of the game. It's the third inning, though. You're not that late. If you want to check out how I created this card, just start the video at the beginning. So Catfish Hunter rolls a 2-2. Now you have a K and a parentheses in W. The parentheses takes effect if the pitcher is tired. And there's an optional rule that if the pitcher does hit a tired result and he is already tired, you automatically take him out. I do use that rule. But in this case, Catfish Hunter, of course, is nowhere near tired. He can pitch for 31 batters before he shows any signs of fatigue. So you use the first number. That is a K, so that means it's a strikeout chance. Against the righty, Morgan is a 5, plus 1 is a 6. That is a 1, so Morgan flails pretty badly. And that's going to be a swing and a miss strikeout on Joe Morgan, who didn't strike out much, but Catfish Hunter will get him. And that's going to be the third strikeout for Catfish. And that is a 1-2-3 inning, and that ends the inning there for the Reds. Oh, Gary Nolan made majors at 8-19, was excellent until his arm went bad. I think he was out of the show by age 30, ended up car dealing. I didn't know that. Interesting trivia there, Jeff. I like that. That was good. Okay. So we now go to the bottom of the third. Nolan will get back on the mound. And leading off for the Athletics is going to be the catcher I decided to use, and that is Dave Duncan. Duncan is catching for this game. Got pretty decent home run power for 403 at-bats, but didn't have much hitting. 218 batting average. But Dave Duncan gets the call for the Athletics here in this. So let's see. Here we go to the bottom of the third. So Gary Nolan, a 6-2, and that comes up a strikeout chance. Against a righty, Duncan is a 9, plus 1 is a 10. That's a 16. It is too high. So there will be no strikeout. Duncan gets the hit. A 1-1, and that is a P6, which is just to pop out to short. And that'll be grabbed by Concepcion, and that is 1 out. That'll bring up the second baseman, Ted Kubiak. Kubiak, if I'm correct, actually didn't start the year with Oakland. I think he started with someone else, I believe. I think Kubiak started the year with a different team. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's on the opening day roster for the Athletics. He gets on there later. Kubiak we got Kubiak at second base for this game, so he gets the call here. So Nolan will pitch, and that is a 6-5. A 6-5 is a walk chance against the righty. Kubiak is a 9. -2 makes him a 7. That is a 3, and that is not a good. And Kubiak does draw the walk. So the Athletics get their first base runner, and that will bring up Catfish Hunter. He will bat here. Catfish Hunter, not a bad hitter in 72. Nothing wrong with a .219 batting average, and he had a lot of at-bats. He had 105 at-bats for a pitcher that year, so not bad. Okay, and Catfish actually did pretty good against right-handed pitching. Actually, a little worse against lefties. He actually has this is actually a pretty good card for him. Now, we do roll the strategy roll, but I'm probably going to have, even though he has a .219 average, I'm probably still going to roll a bunt so you guys can see how a bunt. Kubiak started with Texas. Thank you there, Baseball Demos. I knew it wasn't with the Athletics. So what we're going to do here is, because Catfish Hunter is a bunt, has a bunt rating of 4, and pitchers usually do bunt, I'm going to roll a D6 just to see if they go to double play depth or corners in. Because his bunt rating is a 4, a 1 to 4, the corners will be in. It is. So they're going to call the corners in expecting a bunt. Now I will re-roll the strategy roll. Now that is an 11. Now Catfish Hunter has a bunt rating of 4. We go to the bunt chart, okay, and we check the pitchers. A bunt rating of 4, a 12 to 19 would be a bunt with a runner on first and no one out. That is an 11, so the bunt automatically comes up anyway. Now, of course, as I said, the strategy rolls are meant to be a suggestion, okay, and you can use them hard and fast, or just use them as a suggestion, of course. But we're going to use the bunt because I want to show the bunt in action. So the corners are in. So Catfish Hunter has a bunt rating of 4. Now on a bunt, okay, we now check the bunt. On a bunt, hit by pitches and wilders are resolved normally. Possible Ks or strikeouts are cut in half, round down. Possible walks are cut in half, rounding down. Range plays, you still proceed with the bunt, but you check to see if a range play is made. All errors, proceed with the bunt and check for the error. And all other results proceed to the bunt. So now let's see what we roll. So Catfish Hunter is going to bunt anyway. So let's see what we get here. Gary Nolan is a 5-5. Now it's an error on a throw. So this means the bunt's going to proceed normally, but there could still be a throwing error. So now we utilize the chart, the bunt chart here, to see what will happen. As I said, the bunt chart and the squeeze bunt chart are the only 2 charts that actually resolve the play, okay? Everything else is done by the dice. So we know the corners are in, so now we roll for Catfish Hunter, and the only dice you really need to roll is the D20 and a 1 die, because you got to see where it was fielded to, and of course the result. But we know there could be an error on a throw. So first we find out what it is. Now that is a 4, and the 4 is hit right to first base. And that is a 14. Now the corners are in. So when the corners are in and it's hit to a position where the corner is in, the bunt rating is reduced. So instead of a bunt rating of 4, Catfish Hunter's bunt rating is reduced to a 3. So now we will check the 3 chart here on the bunt chart, and that is a 14. And so now on 3 it says 14 to 16, lead runner thrown out, hitter safe at first base. So normally, if this was a normal bunt, we already know that it's a fielder's choice. But because it was an error on a throw, we have to see if there is a throwing error. So it was hit to first base. The 4 says hit to first. And the first baseman is Tony Perez. And Tony Perez's error rating is a 6. So we're going to re-roll the D20 again. If it's a 6 or lower, there's going to be a throwing error. It is a 20. So no, there is no throwing error. So Perez goes ahead and makes the throw to second. So Kubiak is out. Now 2 outs. But now Catfish Hunter will take over at first on the fielder's choice. So that is a fielder's choice. And now there are 2 outs. And now the batter is Campaneris. So when you roll for, if an error on a throw or anything else like that comes up off of when you're trying to bunt, you got to roll to see what the result for the bunt would be, and then check to see if there's going to be an error or anything like that. It was 12 when the A's beat the Reds in 72. Devastation. Didn't necessarily let them do a Reggie out until I replayed the series another game. It was the A's pitching. Yeah, the A's had massive starters in 1972. So here comes Campaneris. So Campaneris is going to bat. We still roll a strategy roll, even though Hunter has an N here, so no chance for steal. But Nolan could still pick him off. And that's a 4, and nothing happening there. So now Campaneris will get to bat. Nolan will pitch, and that's a 6-1. And now we have a split chance against the lefty. Against the lefty, that would be an automatic out, but against the righty, that would be a blank. Campaneris is a right-hander, so that's going to be a blank. So Campaneris does get to swing. And that's a 2-4. And a 2-4 comes up a G5, which is a ground ball right to third. Catfish Hunter is the slower runner. So that's picked up there by Menke. He throws to second to get Hunter, and that will end the inning. So nothing across except a walk. And Gary Nolan is off to a pretty good start. No score here after 3 in this demo game. Brian Patterson joins us here for the demo game. So we'll go to the top of the 4th. Merry Christmas to you, my good man. Top of the 4th inning, and it will be Bobby Tolan leading off for the Reds. So no score here in the Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum. So Catfish Hunter, we go ahead and roll on his card. 2-6, and again, that's a blank. So Hunter does not have control. So the pitcher pretty much makes a normal pitch across the plate. Does Tolan do anything with it? And that is a 6-3, and that is a star. That is a double star 3. So that's going to be an automatic out, and that go to Catfish Hunter, double star 3, is a fly to right. So far, both these pitchers are pitching like they are. Well, I mean, Catfish Hunter is a 2.04 ERA, and Gary Nolan a 1.99 ERA. So the combined ERA of this group is just under 4 combined, just a little bit over 4 combined. So, you know, they're pitching. You're getting a pitcher's duel with these two pitchers, and kind of like what I expected we would get. So fly to right, and here comes Mr. Bench. Kemi Poo joins us here for the demo game. What is Santa going to get me? I don't know. I might get a rock. Who knows? Hunter will pitch. 3-3. And now we come up again to a range play. So a range play coming up. So now we will check to see what Johnny Bench has to do. And that is a 2-4. And that is a G6. So that's a ground ball to short, but it's a range play check. The range play, the shortstop is Bert Campaneris, and his range is a 4. It was pretty good. So a 1-4, he will make the play, and it'll be a ground out. It's a 2, he does with no problem. He grabs it easily, ranges to his left a little bit, throws to first, and gets out Bench. And now the batter is Tony Perez. And Tony Perez comes up 0 for 1. And let's see what Catfish Hunter does. You know your wife is getting a new roaster. Yes, as you told me earlier what happened. So Catfish Hunter gets the pitch. And that's a 1-4. That's, again, WLD, a wild pitch, but there's nobody on base, so we just say it's ball one and re-roll. Or you could say it's fouled away, but if it's a wild pitch, I doubt you're fouling it away. So I actually call that that would be a wild pitch. That's definitely ball one. 6-4, we roll, and now we have a K. So a strikeout chance against the righty. Tony Perez is a 13, plus 1 is a 14. That's an 11. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. And the inning is over. Strikeout number 4 for Hunter. So nothing across for him. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning in this demo game. Joe Rudy will go ahead and take the field. Rudy is 0 for 1. Vlad Guerrero can foul away wild pitches. Yeah, he can. I saw him, and I saw him do that. Nolan with the pitch, a 3-1 strikeout chance for Nolan. Against the righty, Rudy is a 7, plus 1 is an 8. That's a 14. We're too high. Rudy gets the swing. And that's a 4-4, and that is an F7, and that is a fly out to left. Next up is Reggie, and he is 0 for 1. So Nolan goes ahead and gets the pitch, and that's a 3-3. 3-3. HBP is hit by pitch. So you got to check to see if he plunked the batter. Reggie Jackson against the righty, doesn't matter. Reggie Jackson is a 10. So we did get hit by the pitch a number of times. But then you go to the pitcher's hit by pitch rating and subtract what the rating would be. So a 10 minus 7 would be a 3. Then you check the D20, and that is a 9. He does not hit him, so it's a normal pitch. Okay, you don't re-roll. It's considered a blank, and then you go ahead and roll on the batter card. 6-4, and a 6-4 for Jackson is an L6, and that is a line out right to short, and that is 2 away. And now the batter is Bando. Bando is 0 for 1. Nolan gets the pitch, and that's a 4-1. And again, strikeout chance is a K. Against the righty, Bando is a 5, plus 1 is a 6. That is a 9. Bando gets the swing. 6-3, and that is a star 3, which you go to Gary Nolan's star line, and his 3 is a G5, which means it is a ground ball to third. And nothing across for the Athletics. No score after 4. Yeah, that's true there, Tracy. So we go to the top of the 5th. Catfish back on the mound. And leading off for the Reds is going to be Dennis Menke. And he's 0 for 1. So Menke will go ahead and he will bat against Catfish. And that is a 2-6, and that is a blank. Catfish Hunter having just throwing normal pitches over the plate lately. Well, let's see, but that means that Menke gets the swing. 4-1, and a 4-1 is an L6, and he lines out to short. And Concepcion is right there, 1 down. Next up is Geronimo. Geronimo got a double his first time up, so he's 1 for 1. Catfish, a 2-3, and that is a range play at the park. RP at sign means a range play at the park. So we go to Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum, and we now use this matrix instead of Geronimo's matrix. No, I would not. I'm not going to the Dolphins game. I have more fun. I'm more than happy watching it at home. So we go to Oakland-Alameda. Now, it's a range play at the park. Now, the first thing we got to do is we have to roll, and that is a 4-5. Now, a 4-5 often becomes a star 6. So this would be an automatic out, and we go check Hunter, and it's a 6, and it's a fly ball to center field. But it's a range play. So it's hit to center, and the center fielder for the Athletics in this inning, for this game, is Mangual, and his range is a 4 in center field. So a 1-4, he's going to take a hit away from Geronimo. It is a 6. He's not going to get there, so Geronimo's going to get his second hit. Is going to get a second hit. Now, on a failed range play, All right, a 1, you roll the die again. A 1 to 4, it's a single. A 5 to 6, it is a double. That's a 4. So Geronimo is going to get a base hit. The only time if a failed range play, the only time a failed range play is an automatic double is if it comes off the ballpark card and it was a home run opportunity. And they mailed them. That's the only time it's an automatic double. You roll the dice, okay, on any other failed range play on a hit to the outfield. So Geronimo is going to be 2 for 2 as he'll get a single and he'll wind up at first. Yeah, I know. I was at that Boca Raton Bowl there, Cammy Poo. I went to go there with a friend of mine. We had a great time. We left the early third quarter. The game was already no longer in doubt. I just went to have some fun, though. Yes, USF and Syracuse. I was there. So now we have a runner at first. So now we go to double play depth. Okay, to bring the runners in to come for double play. And coming up to bat is Concepcion. Concepcion struck out his first time up. Yeah, Syracuse didn't want to play that game. I don't think they wanted to play. Now we roll a strategy roll to see what happens. Geronimo has a base stealing attempt of 3. Nothing from Catfish Hunter. And Concepcion has a 9. So a 9 would be a +2 against for strikeouts. So a 1 to 3 is a steal try. A 4 or 5 would be a hit and run try. Concepcion does have a bunt rating of 3. And an 18-19 would be a bunt attempt. That's a 6, so nothing happening there. So now it's going to be a normal play. So Catfish Hunter does get to roll. And that is a 1-1. So once again, that is a blank. So Catfish Hunter just throwing pitches normally over the plate. Concepcion gets the swing. A 5-6. And a 5-6 is a G4. Now it's time to show you how the double play works. It is a G4, so it's a ground ball to second base. In order to get a double play, in order to protect the double play, you check the batter's double play rating, the pitcher's double play rating, if the infield is at double play depth, and the pivot rating of the person of the fielder making the throw back to first. Now we do have a chart that I make. I created a pivot table, which you only really need. Okay, which I only really use if it's a ground ball to first or second, because everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. Who got the ball? Okay, I created this. I only use it just for G1 and G2. So if we got to see if it's a ground ball to second. So we know the shortstop is going to be the pivot rating. Now, of course, there's always sometimes that play where the shortstop tags the bag and then throws, or the second baseman tags the bag and then throws. There's no recourse. I've not seen a game engine do anything like that, but I kind of make up something, in case. So let's take a look. So Dave Concepcion is a 3, nothing from Catfish Hunter, and they are at double play depth, which increases the double play rating to a 4. Okay, so we know the second base, so ground ball to second. So we know Kubiak is getting it, and Bert Campaneris is the shortstop, and he has a +1 pivot. So that means it's going to be a 5. So a 1 to 5, you now roll a die, a 1 to 5, yeah, a G2 should be only to first base, although it doesn't actually say that in the chart, baseball demos. But in my opinion, I did ask Chris about that, and he says if it's grounded at the plate, the catcher's not going to throw to second base, okay? The catcher first has to get the ball, then throw to second and turn a double play. I don't care how slow the base runner is at first. He's not going to get a double play. He would throw to first to make sure he got the out. And that's how I interpret it, okay? So a 1 to 5, it's a double play. A 6 is the only way it's not a double play. And no, you cannot have a double play rating higher than a 5. It's always a possibility that the ball was hit too slow and the only play the fielder had was at first. And that is a 5. So that would be a double play. So that is a 4-6-3 double play that will end the inning. So no runs and a hit, as Concepcion grounds right into it. And that will end the inning, and we will go to the bottom of the 5th. Now, sometimes I say that so that was a 5. So the pivot rating actually did come into play. Okay. If he didn't have a +1 pivot, that would have been a fielder's choice. Usually I say, like, if the double play rating, if I roll a 1, I kind of say maybe the second baseman didn't need the pivot rating and he just threw to first and got the out to step on the bag or whatever. You've seen catchers go to second on dribble before, but it's very rare. That would be more like a rare play, but he went ahead and checked play by play, and he never saw a catcher throw to second on a grounder at the plate. Never seen it. He's never seen a catcher do it. There's no recourse. That would have to be a very rare play, and I wouldn't even do it that way. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. Gary Nolan gets back on the mound, and Mike Epstein will go ahead and lead off. No score here in this demo game, huh? Nolan, a 4-4, and that is a blank, so now that goes right to Epstein's card. And that is a 6-1. A 6-1 is a power hit. There is a question mark 9. That's a power hit to right field. That is a 5. And against a right-hander, Epstein, a 1-5 is a single, and he's going to get a base hit, and that is the first base hit of the game for the Athletics. A single for Epstein. So Gary Nolan pitches 4 innings of no-hit ball. And now the first time the Rays have a runner on first due to a hit. And now we go to the bottom. So now nobody out. The A's have a chance. And the batter will be Mangual. Mangual, 0 for 1. Infield is at double play depth. Epstein had no stolen bases at all, but there's still an H, which means he probably tried to get there on a hit and run. Hence, his stolen base rating is a 0. I still roll, and that is a 19. Now, Mangual's bunt rating is a 3, and a 19 on a bunt rating, 8 and 19 actually comes up as a bunt. Okay, with a 246 batting average, as I said, we're going to play hard and fast. I'm going to have Angel Mangual bunt. And since it's a batter, I'm going to say the infield is a double play depth. They're not calling in the corners. So they're not going to bring in the corners. So there's not going to be that negative, whatever. So we're going to do a bunt with Angel Mangual to try to get Epstein over to second. So we roll Gary Nolan, and that's a 4-3. A 4-3 is a double question mark. However, on a bunt, this is ignored. On a bunt, that is ignored. So all other results proceed to bunt. So the double question mark will not come into effect. Okay? It could have been a chance for an automatic out. But because we decided to bunt, the double question mark is ignored. You go right to the bunt chart. So now we'll roll for Angel Mangual's bunt. And that is a 3. And that is bunted to the first baseman. That is a 19. They're a double play depth, so there's not going to be any change. Bunt rating is a 3. Okay, so now we check. And at 19, it says bunted too hard. Proceed as you would any GDP. So now we turn this into a double play chance. So now it becomes a regular double play chance. So Mangual's a 2. Nolan ground double play is a +1, which is a 3. Okay, they were at double play depth. So you still add that even on a bunt. So that becomes a 4, okay? And now it was hit to first base. So that means that the shortstop is going to be pivot. And Concepcion's pivot rating is a 0. So a 1-4, Mangual bunts this too hard, and it's going to be a 3-6. It's going to be a 3. Wait a minute. It's hit to Epstein. They're a double play depth. I'm sorry, but Epstein is at first base. He was holding a runner on, so you do not use the double play rating since it was hit to first. My bad. So, and it's hit to first base. If they're a double play rating, you don't get the +1. So it is just going to be a 1-3 for a double play because Tony Perez was holding on Epstein. That is a 3, so they still turn it. So Mangual bunts it right to Perez, too hard, throws to second, back to first, double play, twin killing. 3-6-3. When a ball is hit to first base and they're holding double play depth, the first baseman does not get the +1. Only second, short, and third because the first baseman is holding on the runner. So Manguel bunts it too hard and erases a chance and now makes it 2 outs. And the infield goes back to normal. Good to see you, Carlos Yaz. Merry Christmas to you. Here comes Duncan. So now 2 outs. And Nolan will pitch. And that's a 2-4. 2-4 is a blank. So nothing there from Gary Nolan. We go right to Duncan's card. And a 2-1. Here's a 2-1. It's a question mark 9. That's a power hit to right field, a power check to right. That is a 13. Against a righty, Duncan is 13-18 as a home run. That is a 13. And good thing they got the double play because Dave Duncan just went a kaboom on Gary Nolan. That ball is hit pretty high. That ball is hit pretty deep. And that ball is hit pretty gone. Home run, Dave Duncan, and the A's are on the board. That is a question mark 9. That's a ball hit to right field. And that is a 13. And against a right-handed pitcher, a 13-18 is a home run. These are automatic. You do not have to check the home run rating of the batter down here. These are automatic home runs. The only time you check the home run rating is if a home run question mark passes here, or if it's off a home run car or a home run automatic home run result, or off the ballpark card. You do not have to re-roll to see if it fits here. These are automatic. That is a home run by Dave Duncan, and the Athletics just took a 1-0 lead off of Nolan. So Dave Duncan does go ahead and get the hit. It's 1-0 in favor of the A's, and here comes Catfish. He will bat. So Nolan will go ahead and he will pitch, try to shake off the home run. 3-5. A 3-5 is an RP. That's a range play chance. The one thing I do like about the range play ability, even if the hitter has 0-0-0 batting average, he can still get a hit on a failed range play. And that could come off the batter, the batter card or the hitter card. So it's a range play. So Hunter gets the swing, and that's a 4-6. Now, a 4-6 is an S3. So this ball is hit to first base. This is going to be a hit if he can't make the play. The first baseman for the Reds is Tony Perez, and his range is a 2 at first base. The infield is normal since there's nobody on base. So a 1 or a 2. Now, since this is an S3, this is an automatic single if he can't make the play. So a 1 or 2, he takes a hit away from Catfish. He doesn't. That's going to be a 3. That'll get by him right into right field, and Catfish gets a hit. I'm sorry, Catfish? My bad. That should be Kubiak. Let's re-roll that. I had Kubiak in the wrong one. Kubiak is actually the base runner. My bad. Let's re-roll the at-bat. My bad. Catfish, I have Kubiak batting up next. My bad. Let's re-roll it. We'll keep the range play check, though. Well, no, let's re-roll the whole thing. Screw it. It's exhibition. 5-6, strikeout. Kubiak will not strike out. He has an 8. That 19 is too high. So we'll go. So Moonlight Graham can get a hit on a failed range play. Yes, he can. I could get a hit on a failed range play. How about that? So Kubiak will swing. 4-1, and that's a fly out to left, and that's an F7. That's a fly out to left. That'll end the inning. So 1 run on 2 hits. A solo homer by Dave Duncan, and the Athletics have a 1-0 lead after 5. So we'll go to the top of the 6th. A 1-0 lead for the Athletics here. Catfish Hunter back on the mound. And Gary Nolan coming up to bat, and he will bat. He will bat. This is 1972, not 2016. Not 2023. So, actually, the pitchers don't bat in 2022 or 2023 anymore. So this isn't the 2020s. So Catfish Hunter will pitch. 5-5. A 5-5 is a W. That is a walk chance against a righty. Nolan had an 8. -2 is a 6. That's an 8. So the ballpark takes a walk away from Gary Nolan. He does get the swing, though. 3-1, and that is a G4, and he grounds it to second. That'll bring up Mr. Peter Rose. Rose is 0 for 2. Catfish, a 2-1. Now we have an EG question mark. That's an error on a grounder. Now, if it's a ground ball, there could be a possible error. So Pete Rose does get the swing. That's a 1-1. Now that is a ground ball. It's a G6, so it's a ground ball to short. The shortstop is Bert Campaneris for the Athletics, and his error rating is a 6. That's a 7. He's going to bobble it, but he's going to collect it. He's going to throw to first and get the out, 2 down. Campaneris bobbles it, but he does make the play. 2 down, and here is Morgan. Morgan is 0 for 1. He walked. He did walk in the inning. Should be Hall of Fame number 14. What, Pete Rose? Yeah. Yeah, Pete Rose should be in the Hall. I don't care what he did off the field. What he did on the field is what matters. Pete Rose should be in the Hall. All of those guys should be in the Hall. Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson. And you know what? I'm sick and tired of the steroid era. You know what? Put them all in the Hall. Baseball needed those players in 1998. Needed McGuire, needed Sosa to get baseball back on the map after the 94 cancellation, all that stuff. And then they kind of didn't reward them. Whatever. So here's Morgan. Morgan is 0 for 1 with a walk. Hunter, a 2-1. Again, EG question mark error on a grounder. We go to Morgan. And that is a 2-1. And that is a power check to left field. So that's a question mark 7. And that is a power hit to left field. So this is Christmas. Beatles eternally. That counts. So that is a power hit to left field. Against the righty, that is a 5 on the die. And against the righty, that's a 1 to 10. Now that is a single, but now you still check for an error on a grounder. Now some people don't do that, but if you check the error chart here on an EG on a single in the outfield, you still check to see if it's an error on a grounder. It's a possibility the fielder may have misplayed it. Okay, so you check to see if there's an error on a grounder, all right, on a ball hit to the outfield. So that's hit to left field. The left fielder for the Athletics is Joe Rudy, and his error rating is a 2. Now, since we already used the D20 to go ahead and find out what kind of hit it is, you have to re-roll to see if he actually makes an error. So a 1 or a 2, he's going to misplay it out there. It is a 14. He doesn't. He does get the ball and he throws it in, but Morgan does have a single. So Morgan gets the first, and that will bring up Nolan. Nolan is 0 for 2. Big Clue and Mike Eisenberg join us here for the demo game. So Morgan on at first base. Bobby Nolan will now come up to bat. And Merry Christmas to everyone, and Happy Hanukkah, belated Happy Hanukkah to all the Jews out there, as I happen to be one. So Morgan is on at first base. We will still roll a strategy roll, but with 2 outs, you don't need doubles in, corners in, or anything like that. And that is an 8. Now Morgan has a 6, 0 from Catfish Hunter. Okay. Now Bobby Nolan, we don't do a hit and run with 2 outs, so it wouldn't matter. So Morgan is not going to try to steal, so he will stay put. So now Catfish Hunter will go ahead and make a pitch. And that is a 2-5. Now we have an E question mark. That's just a possible error. So now we go to Nolan. Let's see what the A's can. Let's see what happens. So Nolan, a 1-2, and against the 1, that is a star. A 1-2 is a star 4. It is a star line 4. A star line 4, okay, is a G4. That's a grounder to second base. That's a grounder to second, but it's a possible error. That is a 3. Now the second baseman for the Athletics is Ted Kubiak, and his error rating is a 2, and that is a 3. So he will also bobble the ball, but he will hold on to it, and he will throw to first to get the error, to get the out, and the inning is over. So no runs and a hit for the Reds. It stays 1-0 Athletics on the home run by Dave Duncan, and we'll go to the bottom of the sixth. Gary Nolan gets back on the mound. He can pitch to 28 batters. He's got plenty of room. Catfish can pitch to 31. Right now, no pitcher's in danger of any stamina loss at the moment. So leading off for the Athletics will be Catfish Hunter, and he's 0 for 1 on a fielder's choice. So let's see what happens with Nolan. So Gary Nolan, a 3-3. That's a hit by pitch. Hunter has a 0. Gary Nolan -7, so that's not happening with the 12. So he puts it over the plate. That's a blank. Hunter a 1-2. That's an F8, and he's going to fly out to center. The batter will now be Campy. Campaneris is 0 for 2. Both these pitchers pitching a gem today. So 1 out. Nolan will pitch, and that's a 5-1. Now that's just a straight at sign. That means at the park. So you go right to the ballpark card and you roll there. And that's a 1-3. Now that says HRP. That means a possible home run to the pull side. Okay? Well, we first got to see if Campaneris does it. Campaneris is a righty. So we know that the pull side is going, so it's a possible home run to left field. But we know that it's just a straight ballpark check. Against the righty, Campaneris needs a 6 against the right-handed pitcher. That is a 6. And Campaneris, and there's no home run adjustment. So believe it or not, that is a kaboom. That ball is high. That ball is deep. And going back as left fielder is Pete Rose. He's at the track. He's at the wall. He leaps. And that ball is going to clear the wall by maybe a foot or two. That is a home run for Bert Campaneris. That just cleared the wall. And the Athletics will take a 2-0 lead. As Bert Campaneris, a home run to the pull side. So that would be a hit to left field for Campaneris. And against the righties, a 6. That is a 6. It just cleared the wall. And it's 2-0 Athletics on 2 home runs right now by the A's. The batter now will be Rudy. Onto the steps in left field. Exactly. Just cleared it. So now it's a 2-0 lead for the A's. And Nolan will pitch. And that's a 2-6. A 2-6 EG question mark error on a grounder. So now we go to Joe Rudy's card. 2-1. Now that is a power hit to right field. Again, now that is a 12 against the righty, however. It only goes as high as 9. So that's not an error on a grounder. So that's just going to be a fly out to right. It's too high. So that's a fly ball to right field for Rudy. He's now 0 for 3, and there are now 2 outs. So here comes Reggie. Reggie is 0 for 2. Nolan's kept him quiet. So 2 outs now, 2-0 A's. And that's a 5-6. And that is a strikeout chance. A K against the righty. Jackson's a 17. Struck out a lot. +1 is an 18. That's a 12. And Reggie Jackson swings and misses and struck him out. And that will end the inning. And believe it or not, that is the first strikeout for Gary Nolan in this game. First strikeout for him. He only had 90 in 72. So that is the first strikeout for him. So 1 run on 1 hit. A solo banger by Bert Campaneris. 2-0 after 6 in favor of the A's. And we will go to the 7th. As Catfish gets back on the mound. And leading off for the Redlegs will be Mr. Johnny Bench. Bench is 0 for 2. So once again, we go here. So far, we haven't really had to use this card at all because the pitchers have been owning the game. So Catfish Hunter, he will pitch, and that's a 4-2. HBP hit by pitch. Again, Bench is a 2. Catfish is a -5, so you know that's not going to be an automatic. That's not going to be hit by pitch. You can disregard whatever the D20 says, and you can roll for bench. And that is a 2-3. And bench 2-3 is a star 2, which is a star line 2. And on Catfish Hunter, it's an F8. So bench flies out to center field. And he's been quiet so far. 1 down. Here comes Tony Perez. And he's 0 for 2. Catfish will go ahead and pitch. And that's a 6-6. Now a 6-6. This is where the pitcher had complete control of the at-bat, and that is a double star. That is an automatic out. You do not even have to check the batter card. It doesn't matter. These double stars mean the pitcher had complete control of the at-bat, okay? No matter what the batter did, the pitcher had it. So in this case, however, you have to roll the die to see what it was. So you make another die roll. That is a 2, and you go here, and that's just a fly out to center. Another fly ball to center field that Angel Mangual goes ahead and gets. And now the batter is Menke. Menke is 0 for 2. So Hunter will go ahead and pitch. And that is a 1-5. A 1-5 is a split chance. Against the lefty would be a blank. Against the righty would be a strikeout plus. Menke is a righty. So we then check against the righty. He is a 9. And you add 10 on a strikeout plus, which makes him a 19. Plus 1 is a 20. No matter what the die roll is, that is a swing and a miss and struck him out. And that is the 5th strikeout for Catfish. And a 1-2-3 inning for the Reds as we are at the 7th inning stretch. I'm going to go get a quick drink real quick. So take me out to the ball game. I'll be right back. Don't forget, our next game of Inside Pitch on the network is, well, opening day, January 1, 2024. That date will be April 15th, 1972. We will be at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field as the Philadelphia Phillies take on the Chicago Cubs. How about a good opening day matchup between lefty Steve Carlton and Fergie Jenkins? I don't see why we can't open up the 1972 season with a couple of Hall of Famers. Sounds good to me. That game will be at 8 o'clock Monday night. That'll be 8 o'clock Monday night on New Year's Day. That'll be opening day for the 1972 season. And that's when we'll begin the 72 replay, utilizing Inside Pitch and, of course, FastScore for the 10-minute ticker. The 10-minute ticker returns once again to see which teams will be playing for the postseason later in the first part of the year. So Phillies and Cubs, 8 p.m., New Year's Day. Opening day is coming. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th inning here. Athletics lead 2-0. Gary Nolan, he can pitch to 25 batters. He still has some left in the tank. And since it's being 1972, he's going to stay out there. So leading off for the Athletics will be Sal Bando, and he's 0 for 2. Yes, Brian B., but I thought I'd rather have a couple of Hall of Famer pitchers, okay, for 1972, not that lousy team, the Reds, that FastScore will just not even make the postseason anyway. So Nolan will pitch to Bando, tongue-in-cheek. 4-1. There again is a K, strikeout chance against the righty. Bando is a 5, +1 makes him a 6. That's a 16, too high. Bando will go ahead and pitch. Or hit 2-3, and that's a P6. That's a pop out to short. And Bando's now 0 for 3. And of course, he passed away recently. So here comes Epstein. Epstein 1 for 2. We got a single his last time up. Nolan will pitch. And a 5-5. A 5-5 is an ET question mark. Possible error on a throw. So now we go to Mike Epstein. And that is 4-5. 4-5 is a P6. And that's also a pop fly ball to short. There's not going to be a throwing error. So you don't have to worry about that. So Concepcion will get that one as well. And that will be out number 2. What's all this Reds bashing? 2 outs. Here's Mangual. Mangual is 0 for 2. Where do you get the fast score charts? Fast score, I do have in my comments where you can get the fast score charts. And the fast score charts. And the fast score charts, of course, look like these. And there we have for the 1972 season. Okay. You can get these from Replay Baseball. You can go to Replay Baseball and look up fast score. Brian Davis takes care of the fast score charts. He has not released 2023 yet. I'm expecting that soon. But that's where you can go ahead. And get the fast score charts for him. He has all the fast score charts going back to the 1950s, which is perfect since Inside Pitch goes back that far to 1956. Okay, so you can get the fast score charts there. They're pretty cheap. Okay, it's just it sends you a PDF. You just print out the season you want and just roll dice. There's Mangual. He is 0 for 2. And Nolan a 6-4, and that is a blank. So we will now go to Mangual's card. And that is a 5-5. And a 5-5 is a question mark 9. So this is a power check to right field. That is a 20. Against the righty, however, it's going to be too high because as high as it goes is a 16 for a triple. That is a 20. So that's just going to be a fly out to Mangual. Just got under it just a little bit. That's a fly out to right. And that is a 1-2-3 inning for Nolan. And it stays 2-0 after 7. Inside pitch is only flawed. It was going back to 1876. Well, they didn't have pitch by pitch information back then, I don't think. Where Chris Davis gets his pitch by pitch information is from Retro Sheet. Okay, he gets his information from Retro Sheet for his pitch by pitch information. I did let him know that Retro Sheet now has pitch by pitch information going back, and he said complete pitch by pitch information now, I think, back to 1919. I mentioned that to him so that he could go ahead and do maybe some dead ball baseball. As soon as he completes 2001 to 2006, he does need to fill those holes. And he said he would do that for us. Probably throughout next year. So, of course, he has every season from 1956 to 2022, except for 2001 to 2006. He will get those seasons in this year, he said, because I told him he should do those first because a lot of us watch baseball during that time. So, yes, don't worry. He will try to get some dead ball era if he can. Remember, the dip system didn't exist back then yet. Ron McGrath and Steve Tate join us here. Good to see you, my good friends. So top of the 8th, it's a 2-0 lead for the Athletics. Catfish Hunter, he's still pitching pretty well. He can pitch to 31 batters, so 8, 9. He can still pitch to 7 more batters before he gets tired, and he will pitch. Cesar Geronimo will lead off. And he's the only one that's hit Hunter pretty much, except him and Morgan. Geronimo's 2 for 2. He's got a single and a double. Yes, I will do that for you, baseball demos. So Catfish will pitch, and that is a 2-4. A 2-4 is a K. That's a strikeout chance. Against the righty, Geronimo, however, a 19. +1's a 20. That's a 2. And Geronimo swung a nothing at air, and he struck him out. That is a 6K for Catfish Hunter. And now Concepcion. Concepcion is 0 for 2. It's beginning to look a lot like rigged miss. Catfish, a 4-5. A 4-5. Now, 4-5 is a home run with a question mark. Now, you'll check this section here. Against the righty, a 1-16 would be a chance that Hunter grooved it right over the plate. That is a 17. Hunter does not do it. He just missed it by 1, so it just becomes a blank normal pitch. So you go to Concepcion, a 5-2, but he does get an S7, and that's a base hit to left field. So Concepcion, so even though Hunter didn't groove over the plate, Concepcion did enough to make a play, to make it get a hit and get on first base. So 1 out in the 8th inning. Infield goes to double play depth. Gary Nolan is due to bat now, but now at the 8th inning, now I will bring in a pinch hitter. So Nolan is going to finish the game. He will be done, and we'll bring in a pinch hitter for the Reds. And let's see. And usually I go in the 8th inning. I usually still go by most at bats. 9th inning is when I usually bring in anybody. So let's see. Catfish is a righty. So let's see if they're going to bring in the bat here. And let's see. Coming on to bat for the Reds is going to be Joe Haig. A 243 average, 7 homers, 31 RBIs. He's a lefty. So Joe Haig will come on to bat for the Reds. And Concepcion is on at first. Infield is at double play depth. So now we'll see if we get anything happening here. So 2-0 Athletics, 1 out, top of the 8th inning. We still roll for strategy rolls. Strategy rolls are good when the difference of the game plus the inning is over 10 is when the strategy roll, you're not really supposed to use it anymore. So 8 plus 2, it's a 2-run deficit. So 2 plus 8 is 10. We still roll the strategy rolls. 11 or higher, the strategy rolls are supposed to be called off. So we will still roll a strat. And that's a 20. Now, Catfish, that means a possible pickoff error or balk. Hunter has a pickoff rating, a pickoff chance of 1 or a 2. So you re-roll it. A 1 or a 2, he picks off Concepcion. He does not. That's an 18, and Concepcion will get back. So now Hunter will pitch to Haig. Hunter, 4-3. And a 4-3 is a walk chance. Against the righty, Haig is a 15. -2 is a 13. That's a 20. He does not walk him. Haig does get the swing. 2-2. And that is a G3. And that is a ground ball to first, possible double play. Haig's double play rating is a 3. Nothing from Hunter. It's hit to first place, so the double play depth +1 does not come into play. Okay. The shortstop pivot for the Athletics is Campaneris, and he has a +1 pivot rating. So a 1-4, this is a double. Haig grounds out into a 3-6-3. No, it's a 5. So now the 5 does not mean a double play. Concepcion's base running rating is a 3, but when you're being held on double play depth becomes a 2. The 5 is higher. If the die roll is higher than the base running rating of the runner on first, the runner on first is out. It's a fielder's choice. If the base running rating is equal to or less than if the die roll is equal to or less than the base running rating, and that includes it being hold, he would make it to second base. In this case, the 5 is higher than a 2 because the 3 becomes a 2, so being held. It's a fielder's choice. So Haig will take over at first, 2 outs, and Concepcion is thrown out at second base. So now the batter is Pete Rose with 2 outs. So a 66% chance to get a 66% chance to get a double play. They can't turn it. So now here comes Pete Rose. Not getting those double plays can definitely hurt because that gives the other team an extra at bat. So now here's Rose. Rose is 0 for 3. We still check a strategy roll, and that's an 18. Nothing happening. Pete Rose's bunt rating is a 2, but with 2 outs, you're not bunting or hitting a run. You're hitting a run. You're really just checking to see if there may be a stolen base chance or a pickoff chance. So Catfish will go ahead and pitch, and that's a 5-2. A 5-2 again comes up with a walk chance. Against a righty, Rose is a 12. -2 makes him a 10. That's a 14. It's too high. Rose gets to swing the bat. 3-2, and a 3-2, we're finally going to get it, see what happens. A 3-2 is an S9. That is a base hit to right field. Now you'll see how easy this helper card comes into effect. It's a single to right. So, on a single to right, we're going to do it the hard way and with the card. It's a single to right field. Joe Haig's base running rating is a 3, but with 2 outs becomes a 4. So we'll do it the hard way first. Runner advance, a single to right field, 1 to 3, a first to third on an S9 +2. That becomes a 6. And it says base runner and range runner advances, otherwise they hold, or no throw needed on a 6. ABR higher than 5, no throw, runner advances 1 base. That is a 6. So now we'll check the helper card. A single to right plus, let's see here. Let's say a single to right. What did I say? Plus here, okay. So a single to right, he's a 3, but with 2 outs becomes a 4. Down here, you check Oakland. 1 first to third, S right, S9 +2 is a 6. So you know there's not going to be a throw. So Haig will automatically make it to third, and Rose makes it to first, and the Reds got something going on. As Rose gets his first hit of the game. And now runners at the corners. And now a big chance for Joe Morgan. Morgan got a base hit his last time up. He is 1 for 2, a single and a walk, still 2 outs. The infield is still back, but now the Reds have a chance here with runners at the corners. We still roll a strategy to see if anything happens. Nothing on the 17. So now runners at the corners. Joe Morgan, a big chance to try to get a couple of runs in for the Reds. 2 outs, top of the 8th inning. Let's see what happens. 5-6. A 5-6 on Hunter's card is a blank. So that means it goes right to Morgan's card. Does Morgan come through? 5-1. A 5-1. No, he doesn't. That's a G3. That's a ground ball right to first. Mike Epstein will take it himself, tags the bag, and the inning is over. No runs, 2 hits for the Reds. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th in this demo game. Leading off for the Athletics is going to be the catcher, Dave Duncan. He hit a home run his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Reds need a pitcher. And let's see. This is the 8th inning, and they want to keep it a 2-0 lead, so I think the Reds would bring in the main closer, and they're going to go ahead and bring in Clay Carroll. I'm going to bring in the closer in the situation to try to keep a 2-0 lead. So coming on to pitch for the Reds, he was the closer for 1972, and that's Clay Carroll. Had a 2.25 ERA, and he had 37 saves. Pretty good year for him in 1972. So Dave Duncan will lead off as we start here, the bottom of the 8th inning, 2-0 Athletics. Let's see what happens, shall we? That is a 1-4. A 1-4 on Carroll is a strikeout chance. Against the righty, Duncan a 9, +1 is a 10. That's an 11. It's too high. Duncan gets to swing. 5-1, and that is a G3, and that is a ground ball to first, and that is out number 1. Clay Carroll can pitch to 6 batters before he gets tired. Next batter up for the Athletics is going to be Kubiak. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. And let's see here. The Athletics, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and bring in a pinch hitter, even though Kubiak, I'm going to bring in a pinch hitter is what I'm going to do. So Kubiak's going to come out of the game. Well, actually, he does better against righties, doesn't he? Actually, you know what? Kubiak will stay in there. Kubiak will stay in there. Whatever. Kubiak will stay in there. 1 out. Carroll will make the pitch. 5-3. 5-3 is a home run question mark. Now, Kubiak is a switch hitter. So Carroll is a righty, which means Kubiak is hitting from the left. From the left side and a home run question mark, a 1-4 would be a bad pitch. That's a 15. It's too high, so it's not a bad pitch. So Kubiak gets the swing. 5-6, and that's a G3, and that is a G3, and that will also be a ground out to first. With 2 outs, the next batter is Catfish Hunter. Hunter has been pitching an absolute gem, and he is not tired yet. And he is not tired yet. He can pitch to 2 more batters before he gets tired. This is 1972. Hunter is going to bat. So even though it's a 2-0 lead, Hunter's going to bat. I'm going to try to see if he can go the distance. Even though, of course, Raleigh Fingers is ready to go for the Athletics. So Clay Carroll will go ahead and make a pitch. 2-6, and that is a range play. So maybe Hunter can get a hit off a failed range play. Hunter will swing. 3-4. A 3-4 is a fly ball to left field. It's a range play for the left fielder, and that is Pete Rose. Rose's range in left field is a 4. So Rose, a 1-4, he will take a hit away. He will make the catch. It's a 1, and Rose makes it with no problem. He'll get under it, make the play, and that will end the inning. So 1-2-3, go the Athletics. They have a 2-0 lead after 8. But will we see some 9th inning magic in the 1972 demo game? Athletics lead at 2-0. Catfish Hunter coming on to pitch. He can pitch to 2 more batters before he tires. Raleigh Fingers is ready to go. But he will face the heart of the order for the Reds as Bobby Tolan leads off for the Redlegs, and he's 0-3. So 2-0 Athletics. Catfish Hunter trying to pitch a shutout in this demo game at Oakland Coliseum. So Hunter will go ahead and he will pitch. 1-3. Now a 1-3 is an at sign, so that is at the park. We then go to Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum and roll on that table. That's a 3-2. And a 3-2 is a question mark 8. That's a question. That's a hit. That's a power check to center field. That is an 8, and that's going to be a double for Bobby Tolan. Because you check the ballpark card here, not the card on Tolan. You check here. So a question mark 8, you go to the hit column. That is an 8, and that is a leadoff double for Bobby Tolan. So the Reds will have the tying run coming to the plate in the form of that guy. So here comes Mr. Johnny Bench. So Bench coming on to bat. He is 0-3. Catfish is going to pitch to him. Tolan is a runner at second base. The tying run now at the plate. 2-0 Athletics. And we will go ahead and roll and see what happens. Strategy rolls are now off. The difference is 2. Plus 9 is 11. So strategy rolls are no longer supposed to be rolled. So now it's just pitcher versus batter. Catfish Hunter, a 1-5. 1-5 is a split chance. Against the lefty, it's a blank. Against the righty, it's a strikeout plus. Strikeout plus 10. Bench is an 8. Strikeout plus 10 makes him an 18. Plus 1 is a 19. That is a 3. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. That is the 7th strikeout for Catfish Hunter as Bench goes down. And now the batter is Tony Perez. Catfish Hunter is now tired. So what I do usually is I put this marker on the on the pitcher card to remind me he is now a tired pitcher. When you're tired, okay, now the parentheses take effect. So this KW, now this becomes a walk chance instead of a strikeout chance. The parentheses double question mark and the S1, if it runs on here in S1, this becomes not a blank, that becomes a base hit, and you still use this to go to this section. There is an optional rule that if the roll falls on one of these, the pitcher is exhausted and has to be taken out. The one thing I love about inside pitch, when a pitcher gets tired, it does not devastate the pitchers. That's the one thing I love about the game. The pitcher doesn't get devastated. There are a number of games out there that if the pitcher becomes tired, he becomes practically useless and you want to remove him. Okay? Becomes practically useless. Inside pitch does not devastate the pitcher. There are some people that utilize house rules, like maybe they change the K's to W's or something like that, or something like that, or a K strike, a K plus becomes a K, something like that. There's some people that utilize house rules to maybe make the pitcher a little bit more. I like the fact that the pitcher does not become devastated in inside pitch. There are too many games out there that the pitcher is just absolutely useless once they get tired, and I don't believe that. They got to reach behind for something else. So Catfish Hunter is tired, and with Tony Perez up there, and Baseball Fun Game saying Raleigh. You know what? I agree. So Catfish Hunter is tired. He pitched a gem of a game, but the A's will go to the bullpen. And they will bring out another Hall of Famer. Coming on to pitch for the Athletics to try to close the game out, the man with the stash, Rollie Fingers. 21 saves that year, a 2.51 ERA. Hall of Famer Rollie Fingers will come on to pitch. He can pitch to 7 batters before he tires. So Hunter's going to try to get the win, and Fingers is going to try to get the save. So Nolan on at second base. Rollie Fingers coming into pitch now for the A's. No need for a double switch because Campaneris leads off, you bum. Baseball with the demos. So Nolan on at second. Fingers will pitch. There are no strategy rolls. Infield is back. No strategy rolls. So Fingers, he will pitch. 6-1. And that is a straight up walk chance. Against the righty, Perez is a 7. -2 makes him a 5. That's a 3. He walked him. So Rollie Fingers comes out of the pen and he walks Perez. And now runners at first and second. And the batter now is Dennis Menke, who's at third base. And I'm going to take a look at the, see what we're going to do here. And we're going to see, let's see what I want to do here for the Reds. He's at third base. And I think we're going to make a change. So Dennis Menke is going to come out of the game. And coming on to pinch hit for the Reds is going to be Darrell Cheney. As Brad Church joins us here. So Darrell Cheney is going to pinch hit against Rollie Fingers and turn him around a little bit. So Rollie Fingers will go up against Darrell Cheney. There's one out. The infield is now with double play depth. So Cheney's going to pitch for Menke, and Cheney will take over at third base if the game goes any further. But remember, if we go to extras, ghost runners will take effect. It's already 1:13, and the stream is 2 hours old. So Nolan on at second, Perez on at first. Fingers trying to get the save. No strategy rolls yet. It's still pitcher versus batter. Fingers, a 2-6. A 2-6 again is a walk chance. Against the righty, Cheney is a 12. -2 makes him a 10. That's a 3, and the bases are now loaded. So Rollie Fingers comes in and walks to the two batters he faces. And now the batter is Cesar Geronimo. Geronimo is 2 for 3. He's got a single and a double. The infield is going to play at double play depth. The runner at third base does not mean anything. They're going to try to turn the 2 and try to end the inning. There'll be a double play depth, but the bases are loaded. So Raleigh Fingers comes in here and walks the first 2 batters. Let's see what happens. Infield is still a double play depth, 2-0 Athletics. The fans here at Oakland Coliseum suddenly getting very worried. Strategy rolls are still off, so now we roll to see what happens. So Fingers, a 6-1, again with the walk chance. So 3 straight rolls, and it hits all 3, hits his walk rating 3 times. Against the righty, Geronimo is a 6, -2 makes him a 4. That's a 10. He will not walk. But Geronimo gets the swing. 3-1. And a 3-1 is a ground ball to third base. Do they turn the double play and get out of it? Well, we're about to find out. Geronimo's double play rating is a 2. Fingers +1 is a 3. Double play depth +1 is a 4. Second base pivot for the Athletics, Kubiak, is a 0. A 1-4. This ball game is over. That's your game. Ground ball to third. Picked up there by Bando. Takes it. Throws to second to Kubiak. He pumps once. Pumps twice. Throws to first. That's your game. The Oakland Athletics escape in this demo game. A 2-0 win. Bases loaded, and Geronimo grounds out around the horn. No runs, 1 hit, and a couple of walks. And the Oakland Athletics will go ahead and get the victory over the Reds in this demo game. Does this mean this is going to be the kind of games we're going to see on Inside Pitch as I do the 1972 season? Who knows? Who knows? Absolutely. Final line score is going to come up real quick, and then I want to answer a question for baseball demos. But I'll first get the line score in. For the Athletics, 2 runs on 3 hits. The only runs were 2 solo home runs, one by Bert Campaneris and one by Dave Duncan. For the Reds, no runs, 6 hits and no errors. The winning pitcher, of course, is Catfish Hunter. The losing pitcher is going to be Gary Nolan. Raleigh Fingers does pick up the save, albeit shaky, but he does get it. So that is your demo game for the 1972 season. Now, Dave at Baseball Demos wanted me to bring up a point. Let me just see where it was here. I got to find it. You want, at the end of the game, when you answer questions, can you do the sack fly scenario where a 6 is rolled and you have to roll another 6 to go to third? Okay. So here is how that works. So on a sacrifice fly, let's say you have, let's just use the Athletics. You have Tennis on at second, and let's say you got Tim Cullen at third, no matter what it is here, right? And we'll use. Wait a minute. Let's use Reggie Jackson at the plate, Joe Rudy at third, and Sal Bando at second. Let's use those guys instead. Okay. So on a sacrifice fly, he's asking how this works. If a ball is hit to the outfield, okay, let's say the ball is hit to right field. Reggie Jackson has a sacrifice fly rating of 1. So let's say there's 1 out and a ball is hit to right. So Reggie Jackson has a sacrifice fly of 1. First thing all you got to do with runners at second and third, the first thing you got to do is to see if a sacrifice fly occurs. So if this is a 1, okay, Rudy would automatically come in to score. Okay, he automatically scores on a 1. Now, only if, according to the rules, only if a sacrifice fly occurs on the batter card and Rudy scores, it's the only chance a runner on second can try to go to third off the sacrifice fly roll. Okay? So, if you hit a ball into left field and the sacrifice fly is good off of this roll, the runner on second, okay, does have a chance to go to third. In order for him to do that, you go ahead and you roll the base running rating of the batter, of the runner, plus the modification on where the ball was hit to here. So you have a modifier. So a -3 if it's hit to left field, -2 and -1. Okay. If the ball was hit to left field, my rule is, I have a house rule. I don't care what the arm rating is of the fielder. If the base running rating is automatically brought to 0 just from the fly out modifier, I do not send them at all. I don't send them. Okay. If it's just even without it. But okay, let's say the left fielder has let's say the ball is hit to center field. So Sal Bando's base running rating would be a 1. Okay. And let's say the center fielder is Nolan and he has a 0 arm. So then you roll to see if the runner on second can take third on the sacrifice fly, but that's only if it comes off the batter card. So if it comes off the batter card here, the runner on second does have a chance to go to third. If this fails and the runner scores on third, okay, through the base running rating of the throw from the outfielder, the runner on second does not go. But in this case, I'll show you what happens if he does. If the runner's going to third base, you roll 1 die. Okay? So let's say he needs a 1 in order to get to third. If it's a 1, okay, he would get to third base on a fly ball hit to center field. If it's a 2 to 5, okay, he would hold. Now let's say a 6 comes up. The rule of thumb on a 6 is from running second to third. He made it a little bit. Chris Davis changed that rule early in the version 3 rules. So the only way you can get out here is this right here. Runner on second, less than 2 out, roll 3d6. A roll of 6-6, you use the third die to check the outfielder rating, otherwise runner holds. You have to roll 2 6s, okay, to see if a runner is thrown out, to see if there's a possibility of a runner thrown out at third. So let's say I go ahead. Let's say, okay, he's going to try for third. I roll, and it's a 6, and a 6 comes up. Uh-oh, possible out. So now I can go ahead and roll again. If another 6 comes out, then you go to the third die check, the third 1d6, and then check the base running arm to see if he gets the third or not. So if the base running rating is a 0, now you roll here, fly to second or third or S plus, runner out, 1 to 3. And if it's a 1 to 3, he would be out. A 4 to 6, he immediately backtracks and goes to second. You have to roll 2 6s, okay, in order for there to be an out chance on a runner on second to go to third. Not many runners go to second to third, apparently, according to his stats. So we felt that a runner on second going to third on a regular fly out should be a little bit uncommon. So that's why he did to do that. So you must roll 2 6s and then roll the outfielder arm to see if the runner on second going to third is out. Now, of course, you check. Now, what if it's a regular fly out? Let's say it's a fly out to left, center, or right. You can still check to see if the runner on second goes to third. But on a sacrifice fly, only if it comes off the sacrifice fly, off the sacrifice fly check off the batter. Only. That's the only time you do it. On a regular fly out, you can do it anytime. But on a regular fly out. But not if a sacrifice fly roll is being checked. Because the throw is probably coming and the base runner is probably not going to go ahead and do it. So I hope that answers your question there, Dave. So it's got to be a 6 on a sacrifice fly. It's got to be a 6 and a 6, and then you roll to see if the outfielder arm. If it's not a 6 and then a 6, the runner automatically holds. And if it is a 6-6, that's when you roll the throwing arm to see if he is out. So that's where, so you don't get many thrown outs from runners at second and runners at second to third. So I hope that answers your question there. Hope that answers your question. Now, does anybody have any questions? It's 2:19 of the stream. I know some people got to go watch their NFL, which I get. My Dolphins don't play until 4:30, and I got to do a little quick shopping real quick. But I got a few more. But I got to. Same if you get a 6 or runner on third trying to score. Yes. Same. Well, now, yes. No. Not with a 6-on-6 running on a third trying to score. No. A runner on 6, if a 6 is rolled on a runner trying on third, you immediately check to see, like here. Runner on third, if roll is higher than hit, roll 3d6 on the outfielder chart to base runner plus arm outfielder arm. Okay? If only 6-6 is only from runner on second to third. Not, as you can see right here, runner on second, that's when this comes out. Runner on third, it's different. Runner on third, you roll the first to see if he tries it. Okay? To see if he tries it. So if it's a 3 and it's the only way a possible play could occur is on a 6. Okay? So you don't need 2 6s on a runner on when you're trying to get the runner on third. Only 1 6, and then the outfielder arm comes in. Okay? 2 6s, runner on second to third, 1 6 on a runner on third to home. So if Joe Rudy's base running rating is a 3 and the outfielder arm is a 0, a 1 to 3 he would score. That's a 3, he would score. A 4 or 5 he would hold. A 4 or 5 he would hold. A 6 there could be an out. Now, let's say that's a 6. Now you check the outfielder and his arm rating is a 0. And then you check the outfielder arm. So a 1 to 3 there could be an out. A 4 to 6 he would hold. That is a 5. That is a 5, and he would hold. And then you roll. Now, if there is a possible out, that's when you check the third runner here. And that's when the 2 to 5 comes in through, lead runner thrown out. There has to be pretty much three type of successful rolls, okay, for a base runner to be thrown out. A 6 has to be rolled. It has to be, the second roll has to fall within the arm rating, and then a 1 to 5 has to happen here. It's still possible a 6 could be rolled. The lead runner advances, and the trailing runner could score. So it has to be kind of like 3 successful rolls. But if you get to this section here with a 2 to 5 being an out, there's a 66. If an outfielder arm, if a throw is being made, the runner has a 66% chance of being thrown out. So that's how it works there. So a 6-6 on runner second to third, and then the throwing arm of the fielder. But on the throwing arm of the fielder on runner second to third, you don't go to here. It goes right to here. It's an automatic out. This also occurs on S+. So if a 6 is rolled on an S+ to the center to a fielder, okay, and you roll a 6, then you go right to here. You don't go to here. Okay? You don't go to there. Yes, maybe a little clunky, but it really is self-explanatory once you get it. Okay? He wanted to tune out the number of outs, I guess, when it comes to fielders. Now, does anybody have any questions? That anybody want to see something really, or anything you might want to see real quick before I shut down here and get ready for the rest of the day? If anybody has any questions they'd like to ask, remember, I know people have issues with, maybe some people have issues with ratings. Remember, every game has its own ratings engine. Not every game is perfect in ratings. I will not argue ratings with anyone. If anybody has any issues with ratings, please check with Chris. Email him in his forums. He'll be more than happy to tell you why he came with that rating. Okay, it's his system. Okay, so I am not going to argue ratings. It is what they are. And I have no problem with them as a set. It works for his engine, okay? Just like some ratings for other games won't work for other engines. For instance, they are not, I'll give you an example. How many times do you get a range play or an error check in Stratomatic? A lot. There are so many there are so many X results on the Stratomatic pitcher card, okay, that You're always constantly checking range and range checks and error checks. Okay, Stratomatic, you're checking range plays or error checks quite a lot sometimes off the pitcher card. Okay, that's fine. Those ratings designed for Stratomatic are designed for that engine. Those ratings for inside pitch probably wouldn't work for Stratomatic because inside pitch, you're not doing as many range plays, is my opinion. I mean, on each bat, on every pitcher card, okay, there are that's a better card. On every pitcher card, there are always 3 chances of a range play, okay, on the pitcher card. All right. So you have a range play like Raleigh Fingers here, range play here, range play at the park, and range play. So there are only a 3 out of 36 chance off the pitcher card a range play is going to be checked. A 3 out of a 36 chance an error could be checked, but that's it. But Stratomatic, there's more than that. That rating is higher, okay, compared to pitchers. And I know they utilize how good the defense was for that game. That's fine. It works for Stratomatic, I think. It works for Strat. I think it does. Every game engine is different when it comes to checking ranges. All right. Payoff pitch. Payoff pitch range depends on what ballpark you're at. Okay. If you notice, the range plays and the error plays on payoff pitch, depending at the ballpark you're at, that makes a difference. A lot of people say, how does that work? How does a range check make a difference at the ballpark? Like if you check a range play like at Shea Stadium in 1986 for a payoff pitch, an A-rated player is going to be maybe weaker or stronger than he would at Shea Stadium than he would be at Fenway Park or something like that. Some people wonder why he did it that way. It works for his engine. That's why. So like I said, if anybody has issues with ranges, you can go ahead, or ranges or ratings, go ahead. You can go ahead and voice your displeasure. That's fine. It works for inside pitch. It works for this engine. And again, I'll say it again, but I'll say it again. If you don't like the range play of a certain player, then change it. I wouldn't mark it on the card. If you say, Joe, like you said, Joe Rudy has a 2, you don't think that's right, you think you should be a 4, then in my opinion, instead of writing it on the card, I would go ahead and write it like on the score sheet. So Joe Rudy I wrote as a 2, change that to a 4. I'll just check the score sheet. I won't even look at the card. I usually look at the score sheet to get the range, okay? Not at the card, because the cards I have, in here, okay? You could say it's a 4. Just do it that way then if you want, if you think the range is too low. Inside pitch is one of the few games where really you can customize it and you won't hurt the game engine. The game is indestructible. The game is indestructible. Same thing with the cookie cutter cards, which I'll mention, okay? But same thing with the cookie cutter cards. Change it. But make sure you check to make sure that he didn't hit a home run or strike out as much against walks or against lefties or righties. Go ahead and change it. Go ahead. Do it. You're not going to hurt Chris Davis's feelings. You're not going to hurt his feelings, but I'll be more than happy to explain to you why he does it. One of the reasons why he has some cookie cutter cards is because if he did it where pretty much he would have almost every single one of these boxes looking like a split chance, and that would make the card too convoluted and really would be ugly. It would be ugly, and it wouldn't really look very pretty to the eye. And that's another reason why, okay, he doesn't do it that way. A typical, if you want to see a cookie cutter card, I do have one here, and that would be here's Bill Plummer. I'll mention it anyway. Okay, so here's Bill Plummer. Bill Plummer has a cookie cutter card. Oh, well, actually, no, that's not a cookie cutter card. My bad. He's got splits. Cookie cutter card. Let me see here. Let's see. I saw one earlier. I know there is one with cookie cutter card. Is it Darrell Chaney? Yeah. So here's Darrell Chaney of the 1972 Cincinnati Reds. This is a cookie cutter. He has 9-9, 12-12, 4-4. Darrell Chaney hit 2 home runs. Now, I don't know. Now, real quick, I'm going to check to see. Real quick, I'll go to Baseball Reference real fast as I'm doing this real quick and check the Reds and see where those home runs came off of here. Darryl Chaney. I can check splits real quick. Game logs, batting 72. So let me see here. Splits 72. Darryl Chaney. Okay, he hit. Let's see here. He hit two home runs. Okay, he had 171 at bats against right-handers. He had 2 home runs against righties. He hit none against lefties. He only had 25 plate appearances. So this is a perfect example of a cookie cutter card. So if you want to go through all the seasons, everything like that, the players, you would probably change this 4 against lefties, okay, against lefties to a 0. But I really don't think it's going to matter that much. I really don't think it will matter because if you use the player correctly, the way he was intended to, okay, you're probably not going to get much of a spike in your statistics. Plus, remember, okay, you could have a batter come up to bat who has a 0.000 average, but he gets a range play, and a failed range play gets him a hit. That's just the way the engine works. Okay, it doesn't mean just because you have a 0.000 average doesn't mean you can't get a hit. A failed range play and it's a bait and it gets by the fielder, it's a hit. Is that really unrealistic? I don't think so. So I'll show you that reason there, but the main reason why is because if he was to do complete for everything, all of these cards would have so many split ratings, the card would pretty much be unreadable. It would be unreadable, and he prefers to go ahead and make it readable. You might want to mention traded players will get 1 card. Okay, Stratomatic. How many players? Stratomatic also only gets 1 card. Some of them, they only get 1 card. Some traded players get 1 card. Baseball. I'm going to tell you, baseball demos. I'll tell you the truth. Traded players getting 1 card, that doesn't bother me at all, and I'll tell you why. Stratomatic. Okay, Stratomatic has the 1986 season has Steve Carlton. Carlton's card has San Francisco and the White Sox. He doesn't have a card for he doesn't have a card when Carlton was with the Phillies in 1986. So Stratomatic does give you 2 cards, but if he wasn't in the same league, but if he was traded to another team in the same league, Stratomatic would only give him the 1 card. So, in my opinion, that's moot. That's moot. Now, payoff pitch, you get multiple cards for the team he was on, and that's great. Okay? I have no problem with a player getting 1 card. So, like I said, at the early of the game, Ted Kubiak is listed here in 1972 for Oakland. Like Dave said, Ted Kubiak started the season with the Texas Rangers in 1972 and wound up at Oakland later. And as a matter of fact, I do already have a Rangers game scheduled where I believe Kubiak is in the starting lineup. Do I really care about that? No. I could care less. It's a card. It's his total statistics. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Plus, remember, I'm not doing a whole 162-game season with 1 team. Okay? I'm doing pretty much a 60 to 65 game season. All right. With with multiple teams, and FastScore takes care of the rest. But yes, if you are concerned about 1 player getting and yeah, sometimes Stratomatic does give out 3 cards to a player. That's because he maybe played in 2 different leagues. I'm sure Dave Kingman got like 5 cards or something because I know he got traded like 5 times. If that is a concern for you, I get that. To me, it's not. You get the player, and that's it. And by the way, Stratomatic does not card everybody, where Inside Pitch does. Inside Pitch, you get every player that played during the season, okay? And if you are replaying, he has the fringe players that pitchers that pitch less than 10 innings, and batters that batted less than 15 at bats. You can download them from the site for free and print them out yourself. It don't cost a dime. And if there is a player that he did not card, let's say a player that didn't have any at bats, or maybe just had one at bat, and that's it, and you want to make a card for that, just ask him. He'll send you a PDF. Like so many players out there that were Washington. Washington for the Athletics. He didn't have a single plate appearance, but he was a stolen base threat. Okay, ask him to make you a card. He'll do it. Just go ahead and send him an email saying, "I need a card. I need a card. For this player," and he'll be more than happy to create a card for you real quick, and he'll send you a PDF. I would say a PDF because he's not going to print a card. He's not going to send you a printed card for someone that had less than a certain amount of bats or innings pitched. He'll be more than happy to create a card for you. Make it a PDF, print it out, you got it. No problem. So that's why, to me, Inside Pitch trumps Strat, mostly because they don't card everyone. And thank you to My Basement Media Productions, who's not in the chat today, but he went ahead and created I got him all the 1986 cards off the card viewer for Stratomatic. I sent him pictures, and he created all those fringe players for me for my 86 Strat. But Inside Pitch, nope, no problem. And if you're wondering how good, this is a printed card. You want to know how good I can make a fringe player card off of my printer? There you go. Bill McNulty. 10 at bats for the Athletics. I would say that's perfect. This is printed. Larry Lintz. Exactly there, Mike. Dave, thank you very much. This is printed from him. This is printed off my printer. Colors might be a little bit different, but do I really care? No. But look at it. Perfect size. Perfect. And this is off of the same card stock that he uses. No problem. Done. I went ahead, printed it off, used my paper cutter, and got it perfectly. And as you can see, it looks like it's just perfectly printed. So do I have an issue with it? No. So that's how that works there. And of course, like I said, if you go ahead, you get an error from one of his cards, okay? And if you get an error from his cards, like wrong colors or something like that, let him know. He'll replace them. If you have a serious issue with an error in terms of ratings, sometimes he catches ratings that are wrong, and he sends me complete. He once there was a mistake, not because of him, but because the system made an error in some of the pitchers, and he sent me a complete brand new season with all the corrected cards. Most of the cards he had, there were like maybe a total of 100 cards that had errors on it, but not because his system made a wrong calculation. He found it, and he just sent me a brand new season that I separated and put away. His customer service, and for those of you who had issues maybe with Action PC Baseball for the 1972 set, okay, that had Jerry Koosman missing, which it did. He's like Dave Cook. I emailed Dave Cook. 1 hour later, he sent me an updated 1972 season so I can fix that up, okay? Chris Davis is the Dave Cook of, in my opinion, tabletop board gaming. Dave Cook, excellent customer service for Action PC Baseball. And Chris Davis, excellent customer service for Inside Pitch. And for those of you about Brian Davis, who creates FastScore Baseball, which, because it's Brian Davis, no relation, although those two do know each other, okay, they have spoken, to create FastScore Baseball. If you find an error in some of the FastScore information, okay, let Brian Davis know, and he'll fix it. I found I had a problem with the 2016 scheduling. There was a problem with 2016 and in the schedule for the 2016 season, which is kind of funny because I just finished 2016. I told him there was a mistake in the schedule. He found it, corrected it, sent me a new PDF, done. And we've had Brian Davis and Chris Davis in my chat. They're not related, of course, but Chris Davis does Inside Pitch and Brian Davis does FastScore, okay? Give those two the credit, the kudos that those two guys that those two guys have created a great game system, and it's just a lot of fun to play. Does anybody have any more questions before I shut her down? I actually have to do some little quick shopping before the Dolphins play the Cowboys today. So does anybody have any more questions, or are we done for the demo game? I will take that. With Brian Patterson saying good night, I will take that as a yes. There's so many of you guys in there, but of course, Brian Patterson, Mike Terranova, Coast Kid 1958 Far, Big Clue, Kemi Poo 2915, Baseball with the Demos, Beatles Eternally, Mo Dean, Jeff Merklin, Doug Hunt, Brian B, Baseball Fun and Games, Tracy Meehan. So many people here today. Let's see here. Ron McGrath, Steve Tate, Mike Eisenberg, Carlos Yaz. I'm trying to see if I can get everybody here. Clee Baseball Fan 879. And let's see here. After Further Review with Steve Tower, Bob's Tabletop Sports, Philip Reynolds, I.D. Jester, Steeler Fan 1933, Vita Productions, Astros Reefer, Luca Pini, Jeremy Brooks. Thank you all for joining me today. Please leave a like Please leave a like when you exit through the turnstiles. Subscribe if you've not done so. Make sure you hit the bell. Make sure you also check out those channels that I also mentioned, because they also have excellent channels out there. Subscribe if you've not done so, and make sure you hit the bell. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart, stay strong. We will see you guys New Year's Day for opening day, the Philadelphia Phillies versus the Chicago Cubs. Steve Carlton, Fergie Jenkins, the 1972 season is about to begin. Be there or be square.